It's the John Kobylt Show. Hi. We're on every day from 3 to 6, and you're here, and Deborah and I are here. And after 6 o'clock, whatever you missed, you can hear on the podcast, John Kobylt Show on Demand, on the iHeart app. And, of course, we're live on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/@JohnKobyltShow, and you can subscribe, become a member. youtube.com/@JohnKobyltShow. Okay, now you know what to do, how to listen, how to watch. If there weren't so many people suffering, this is almost entertaining how inept and incompetent Karen Bass and her administration is, and how cold-blooded and uncaring this Lineage Logistics company in Boyle Heights is. They famously owned the refrigeration warehouse where they had 85 million pounds of meat. And most of that 85 million pounds is still there, rotting away. The stink is so bad, and it's because it's cooking now in 100-degree heat. And it's so foul. Do you know 1,100 people that live near the warehouse have moved out? They've left their homes. Finally, after weeks, the company and the city or the county got it together and gave them vouchers so they could move into hotels or Airbnbs. So 1,100 people have fled, and the stink still hangs in the air. Rats are still swarming the place, and you also have swarms of flies. And now Karen Bass is getting impatient. By the way, she is much more animated than she ever was about the Palisades fire. She's much more upset that this neighborhood has been devastated compared to the complete lack of emotion she showed about the Palisades. However, she issued a deadline, and it seems that nobody at Lineage Logistics is paying attention to the deadline. Lineage Logistics is so lackadaisical in the cleanup. This is the kind of company that would make me want to join the DSA and start dismantling private business. They're unbelievable. They have no shame. They have no remorse, and they're of no help. You want to hear the whole thing encapsulated? Here's a good report from NBC4 reporter Lolita Lopez.
LA Mayor Karen Bass helps neighbors lined up at the YMCA in East LA. They are here as part of a weekly food distribution started during the COVID-19 pandemic and now seeing people affected by the Lineage warehouse fire.
Hold on. Wait. Stop. They started this food line during COVID. People have been showing up for over 6 years to get free food because of COVID. I believe they probably have. That sounds like a government program. Continue.
LA Mayor Karen Bass helps neighbors lined up at the YMCA in East LA. They are here as part of a weekly food distribution started during the COVID-19 pandemic and now seeing people affected by the Lineage warehouse fire. El olor. Maria Ortega, who lives near the warehouse, tells us the putrid smells of rotting food fill the air day and night. As of today, a fraction of the rotting food waste has been taken off the site, according to the company's website tracking their cleanup process.
And I gave them a timeline of 45 days, but seeing the consequences of what is happening to the community, the compromising of the health and welfare of that community, frankly, 45 days is too long.
Only NBC4 spoke with Mayor Bass about the situation affecting hundreds of homes near the warehouse. And if the winds hit a certain way, thousands more across the east side of Los Angeles. Lineage says cleanup crews are working around the clock, while also noting that removing the waste takes time and requires specialized contractors. Is there any way to speed up or to put more pressure on Lineage?
That's exactly what we're doing right now. And also asking for our partners at the county to weigh in, especially the county health department.
Wait, stop. This thing happened in mid-June, right? So it's at least 5 weeks, and she's asking our partners to weigh in. So nobody at the county has been showing up to help out here? Nobody from the health department? With all the rats and all the flies and all the rotting food, nobody at LA County Health? Are they still taking off because of COVID? Have they shown up back to work yet in that department? By the way, the report, I'm waiting to see what she's going to do here. Lolita Lopez says they've only removed a fraction of the food. That is a lazy way to articulate what's going on here. I have the number. I'm waiting to see if she mentions the percentage of food that's been hauled away. It's stunning and predictable. Play some more.
Meanwhile, a spokesperson for Councilperson Isabel Jurado says the council member is meeting with community members and representatives from Lineage this afternoon, on the very day she requested the company provide a corrective action plan to address violations imposed by the South Coast Air Quality Management District. NBC4 first told you last week about results from air samples taken by UCLA researchers showing certain chemicals consistent with decomposing food were recorded in the air around the facility.
You cannot be outside. You have to be inside the house. Because it's terrible.
Yeah, and that neighbor deciding to stay there in the Boyle Heights area. But according to 211, more than 1,100 people living closest to that warehouse have decided to leave their homes and use vouchers that have been provided by Airbnb. That's just one of the things, including food distributions, which you saw today, as well as air purifiers that have been handed out over the last several weeks. I just got off the line with the spokesperson for Council Member Jurado. That meeting with Lineage is still going on at this time. Any new information coming out of that, including what could be a corrective action plan. We'll bring that to you in the shows later tonight.
A corrective action plan. Okay. For some reason, in the print report, Channel 4 put the percentage of total food waste that had been removed, but they didn't put it in the audio report that I noticed. All right, you ready? You ready? Percentage of food waste removed since the middle of June, 4%. The hell are they doing? 4%? Yeah, they need an action plan. Why is this so hard? Oh, we need specialized units. Then get the specialized units. What's the specialized units? You need those big monster machines to scoop and gobble up the food waste and throw them in the back of a dump truck and get out of here. And Bass says her deadline is firm. Well, they don't care. It's a real firm deadline here. You must obey it. Well, they're not. Wow. So if they've done 4% in a month, let's see, how many months would that take? Oh, that would take over 2 years, wouldn't it? Wow. Lineage doesn't care. And when we come back, I'll give you further evidence of how little Lineage Logistics cares about how they've destroyed the neighborhood, because we'll get more into the foul air and all the complaints and how nothing's been done on that end. Of course, nothing's going to be fixed until they haul out the food, and they can't seem to haul out the food at a proper rate. That's coming up next. Deborah Marks live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here's the latest. Heat advisories and an extreme heat warning take effect tomorrow in Southern California. And a preliminary hearing is going on for singer David, accused of killing a teenage girl. We'll have more at the bottom of the hour, heading over to the 110 next.
GiveMeTheVin.com, where you can sell your car in a hot minute. You try it. Enter your VIN number and get an offer fast. GiveMeTheVin.com. Their offers beat CarMax and Carvana every day. And if they can't, they'll pay you $100. GiveMeTheVin.com. Get your check on the spot. Super easy, super fast. GiveMeTheVin.com. America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Southland weather from KFI. Hot again tomorrow. Highs upper 70s to the triple digits. This report brought to you by Easter Seals Disability Services of Southern California. From your Toyota dealer's traffic center, we make it easy. Stall on the 110 in Highland Park.
That's heading northbound just before Pasadena Avenue. It's taking up the right lane. You'll start seeing a bit of a slow ride just after Marmion Way. And if you're traveling on the 10 heading eastbound through Mid-City, watch for slowing building up at Robertson. It's going to stay busy into downtown. Things will clear up as you approach Santa Fe. And we're still looking at a stalled big rig on the 10. This is eastbound in Fontana that has the off-ramp at Etijuana blocked off. You'll see a slowdown from Vineyard. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Pedro Moreno.
July is Disability Pride Month, a time to celebrate identity, individuality, and inclusion. Pride means showing up as your full, authentic self without apology. Let's celebrate what makes every one of us unique. Easter Seals Disability Services honors Disability Pride Month. Learn more at socal.easterseals.com.
This report is sponsored by Albertsons and Vons. Save with digital deals at Vons and Albertsons. This week, Jenny O 93% lean ground turkey is just $2.99 per pound. Sold in a 3-pound tray, limit 2. And greener red seedless grapes are $1.99 per pound with digital coupons on Vons or Albertsons.com.
Just call Sweet James at 1-800-9-million. Just call Sweet James, your accident attorney.
Sweet James Accident Attorneys, office in Los Angeles, California, and sweetjames.com.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Hi, this is Mike with the Good Feet Store. Are your bad feet making work miserable? You're not alone. Here's Vale, a real Good Feet Store customer.
I'm a salesman. I pounded the pavement 35 years, literally. My legs ached, my feet hurt. It was just sometimes unbearable. But if you don't have a good attitude when you're in sales, it shows on your face. I heard an advertisement on the radio for the Good Feet Store, and I said, what can I lose?
For over 20 years, we've helped people like Val get back to doing what they love without their feet getting in the way.
I walked in the Good Feet Store and I said, my feet hurt. What a difference with these arch supports. When I go and talk to my customers, I've got a smile on my face. I can go all day long and then some. It's the real deal. My name's Val, and that's my Good Feet story.
Don't let bad feet stop you from achieving your 2026 health goals. We have 11 area locations. Find the one closest to you at goodfeet.com.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Decades of saving. Now you're just supposed to hope the market holds up? There's a reason smart retirement investors are moving part of their IRA and 401k into physical gold and silver right now. Gold has hit record highs. The dollar is weakening, and unlike stocks, you can hold real gold in your hand. Golden Crest Metals makes it simple. A nationally recognized firm seen on Fox Business and CNBC with an A- BBB rating and 5-star reviews. Golden Crest can help you add physical gold and silver to your retirement account tax and penalty free. And right now, receive up to $25,000 in free silver with a qualifying purchase. Call 888-447-7857 now to speak with a gold specialist and request your free precious metals guide. That's 888-447-7857. Again, 888-447-7857. That's 888-447-7857. Golden Crest Metals is not a financial advisor. Precious metals involve risk and are not suitable for all investors. Free silver offer consists of a 10% bonus and silver applied to qualifying purchases of premium minted coins. Minimum purchase $10,000 required. Bonus silver capped to $25,000 and credit is an addition to customer account. Free IRA storage subject to qualifying purchase tiers. See goldencrestmetals.com for full terms and conditions.
Tim Conway Jr. People in LA, they love In-N-Out.
A lot of people who live here are not happy about the popular chain wanting to come to town. You know, In-N-Out is known for causing long lines at its drive-thrus because it's such a hot spot. Air quality with cars idling in line.
Tonight, 6 to 10 on KFI AM 640.
The flip side,
More stimulating talk.
how about that cheeseburger?
You heard everything.
Incredible!
iHeartRadio and Fox Sports brought you every 2026 FIFA World Cup moment.
Absolutely free.
Magical!
The entire sports world is waiting for you on the iHeartRadio app.
Football is coming.
Touchdown!
The official NFL podcast network. Plus the second half of the baseball season.
Oh my goodness!
All the sports you love, all in one place. All free. Download the free iHeartRadio app now.
And search sports.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
Coming up on the Conway Show, Andy Reesmeyer in for Tim Conway Jr. Recess is disappearing. Parents are pushing to bring it back. That's coming up tonight on the Conway Show.
$1,000 giveaway.
Now is your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, RICH. That's RICH. Enter it now at KFIAM640.com/cash.
KFI.
Rich. Enter it at KFIAM640.com/cash. If you win, you get an email. Check your junk and spam folder. Listen to KFI. The winning keyword is every hour, every weekday from 9 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon. Next chance to win here, 420 at KFI. You want to go on a road trip?
Yes.
I was thinking you and I
Where are we going?
road trip to Boyle Heights.
Oh, no.
We'll sit outside the Lineage Logistics warehouse and just breathe in for 3 hours and
I know.
see if we last.
You're
100
on your
degree
own.
heat.
No.
I'll fight off the rats.
Yeah, and what am I going to do?
You can swat the flies.
I hate flies.
I hate rats.
I don't like rats either.
Lineage Logistics. We just played a report from Channel 4, and I really, really want to know, unless I had a small stroke, why in the print report they admit that Lineage Logistics only cleared out 4% of the 85 million pounds of rotted meat, but they didn't put it in the audio story. And Karen Bass is strutting around saying, I got a firm deadline here. By August 13th, it all has to be gone. They're not going to clean this up until the summer of 2028 at the rate they're going. It'll be the Olympics by time all the meat's cleaned up. So there's another story, City News Service. They've removed, all right, so they removed 4%, but there's 1,000 air complaints filed with regulators over the stink. And 6 notices of violation have been issued to the company by the South Coast Air Quality Management District. Oh, paperwork. Here's paperwork. And the 45-day cleanup, according to that dope councilwoman, she's a DSA woman, cannot mean 45 days of residents being unable to breathe comfortably. Well, thanks, Isabel. So they want written documentation of the odor and pest control measures. They're issuing paperwork threats, and they're demanding paperwork in return. What you need are big bulldozers and scoopers, whatever they call those big monster things that scoop up debris and dump them into the back of trucks. That's what you need. I mean, what is 4% of 85 million pounds? That's about less than 2 million pounds. So there's another 83 plus million to go. Unbelievable. And here's Hilda Solis, another worthless load LA County supervisor. I directed the Department of Public Health to deploy teams to canvass the neighborhood. So you knock on doors and ask them, can you breathe? You smell anything? What you need big trucks. You need like hundreds and hundreds of young, strong men to drive these trucks and to load the food. You don't have to go door to door and ask them if they can smell the stench. They can smell the stench. They can't. You don't have to ask them if they can breathe. They can't breathe. Besides, 1,100 people already moved out. And also, apparently, there's some problem where LADWP is going to give Boyle Heights residents a break on electricity costs, but no offer was made for East Los Angeles, which is actually a separate community. Because that's, I guess, governed by Southern California Edison. But this has been 5 weeks. What do these people do all day? Yeah, fire broke out on June 17th. I am fascinated by this because Bass completely botched the whole Palisades situation, as you know. The only thing that saved her ass and Newsom's ass was Trump coming in with the Army Corps of Engineers. And they got that cleanup done in about 3 months. And hardly anything happened after that. And then Bass and Newsom went around claiming this was the fastest cleanup in American history, as if they did anything. Neither one of them did anything. Neither one of them ever cared. Now she's all worked up over this one. Why? Because it's a poor immigrant community? And the other community was rich American citizens? Well, she doesn't hide where her biases are. She doesn't hide which ethnic groups or demographic groups she favors and which ones she could live without, which is fascinating because the ones that she disfavors vote in much higher proportions. When we come back, just by chance, Michael Gates, who's running for attorney general here in California as a Republican against the idiot Rob Bonta, he's in the building. I think he's on earlier with Monks and Merrill, and he just wandered into the studio here. And I said, why don't you stay? And so he's going to come in just a few minutes. He and his wife are here. And he's the former city manager of Huntington Beach, former prosecutor in the Trump Department of Justice. And now he's running for attorney general, and he's always got a lot to say. So we'll talk to him when we come back. And Deborah Mark is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Heat advisories and an extreme heat warning will take effect tomorrow as a prolonged heat wave is expected to bring triple-digit temperatures to most parts of Southern California. The National Weather Service says hotter than normal conditions will dominate the foreseeable future. The Weather Service has replaced an earlier extreme heat watch with a heat advisory for the LA County valleys and mountains effective from 10 a.m. tomorrow morning through 8 p.m. Monday. Forecasters expect highs of 97 to 107 degrees during the day. Testimony has started in what's expected to be a 3-day preliminary hearing to determine if there's enough evidence to send singer David to trial over the killing of a teenage girl whose body was found in his Tesla at a tow yard in Hollywood last September. LA County DA Hochman says his office is presenting some evidence to show David Burke should go to trial.
The standard that we have to meet is not beyond a reasonable doubt at the preliminary hearing stage. It is probable cause.
He says his office is not obligated to present all the evidence it has against Burke at this hearing, but they will do that at the trial if the judge rules that Burke should go to trial. The news is brought to you by Pacific Coast Termite. LA School District Superintendent Andres Chait says preliminary state testing results show that students are on track for record-setting academic achievements for a second straight year. He says the results continue a 3-year trend of year-over-year growth across English language arts, math, and science. Chait made that announcement during the district's annual opening of schools address at Garfield High School. The Ojai Raptor Center in Ventura County says it's gotten about $250,000 in donations to help Jackie, the big bear bald eagle.
She was found injured over the weekend and was rescued by the San Dimas Raptor team, who then transferred her to the Wildlife Center in Ojai to further her recovery. The medical report shows no broken bones, but they are waiting on test results. The plan is to return Jackie to her eagle family in Big Bear. Bree Tennis, KFI News.
The dignified transfer of 2 U.S. soldiers killed in Iranian attacks in Jordan has been postponed.
That's according to the White House, which said the ceremony will take place on a date that's being finalized. President Trump had said he was set to be in attendance today at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware. 19-year-old Isabella Gonzalez of Texas was killed on Friday, while 25-year-old Tyler Freehan of Hawaii died Saturday. The attack by Iran also left another soldier missing. In a Truth Social post, Trump said, "Every time Iran kills an American soldier, they will pay for that killing many times over." Monica Nelson, KFI News.
Southline weather from KFI, sunny and hot tomorrow. Highs mid-80s to mid-90s. Metro LA, low 90s to around 100 in the valleys and the IE. Windy again for the IE. Low to mid-90s and windy in the high desert. Low to upper 70s for the beaches. Low to mid-80s in Lindosi. Right now it's 88 in Laguna Woods and 90 in Rancho Santa Margarita.
When you sign your insurance policy, you run a business. For some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission they get, and then they're done. And you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year. And so do the gaps and the risk. You take that all year too. I'm telling you about SuperSure. And if your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, the CFO, or the HR manager, the whole thing is too complicated just to buy a policy online. SuperSure is the super agency that is built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts, which translates your current policy into plain English, so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus, a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth, so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Go to supersure.com, supersure.com.
Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Inheriting a home can be overwhelming. Between repairs and the time it takes to get everything ready to sell, it can feel like more trouble than it's worth. That is where Seller's Advantage comes in.
One real customer who inherited a home shared their experience. We had an inheritance from a relative. It would have taken us a lot of time, money, and headaches to get the property in shape to sell. I heard about Seller's Advantage from radio commercials and decided to give them a try. Their offer was reasonable, and we accepted it. They took care of all the physical effort and legal complexities. We closed within 3 weeks. They said I would highly recommend them to anyone.
No matter what your reason for selling, call Seller's Advantage today. 888-321-AS-IS. 888-321-AS-IS.
That's 888-321-2747 or visit sellersadvantage.com for your free, no obligation cash offer.
Don't worry, sell happy with Seller's Advantage.
DRE number 019-61658. Providence Realty DRE number 019-15212.
Tap into happy hour with half-price pizzas and select apps every weekday at Yard House. Find yours at yardhouse.com.
With Norwegian Cruise Line, you don't have to choose. Whale watching and spa days, family time, and time for yourself. Book your Mexican Riviera cruise sailing from LA or San Diego. Visit ncl.com, call your travel advisor, or 1-888-NCL-CRUISE.
Seriously, my dealership just fixed the transmission.
We all know how it can be to go to the wrong place for transmission repair. Made up of over 800 pieces, the transmission is the most complex part of your car. So bring it to the transmission experts at AMCO. AMCO, always the right fix. AA MCO. Special financing available. Restrictions, limitations, and exclusions may apply. See AMCO.com for complete details.
AMCO, with over 40 centers serving Southern California.
Therapy Thursday with Ellen K is a new iHeart podcast. Real-life drama with real-life consequences and advice that might just save the day. Hear it now on the iHeart Radio app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Call 844-GO-SMILE to learn about the new Lifestyle Smile dental implants from Lasting Smiles.
Visit LearCapital.com for your free gold investment kit. That's LearCapital.com.
Love your legs again. Feel incredible. Just call 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL.
1-877-CARS for kids. K-A-R-S, Cars for kids. 1-877-CARS for kids. Donate your car today.
Call 877-CARS for kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
You ever wonder how far an EV can take you on one charge? Well, most people drive about 40 miles a day, which means you can do all daily stuff no problem. Go to work, grab the kids at school, get the groceries, and still have enough charge to visit your in-laws in the next county. But they don't need to know that. And the best part, you won't have to buy gas at all. The way forward is electric. Explore EVs that fit your life at electricforall.org.
The House Whisperer meets the Horse Gambler. Dean Sharp joins Tim Conway Jr. every Thursday evening at 7:20. More stimulating talk on KFI.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. John Kobylt Show. We're on every day, 3 to 6. After 6 o'clock, you can get the podcast, John Kobylt Show on Demand. And we're on live on YouTube. Do we have the picture set up here? We got it. You ought to run to YouTube. It's youtube.com/@John Kobylt Show. You can subscribe, become a member. We have a surprise special guest, Michael Gates, who is running for Attorney General as a Republican against the evil, corrupt Rob Bonta. I don't say his name without using the phrase evil and corrupt.
I've noticed.
As the descriptor. And Michael has been on our show. He figured out many times since 2014 when he became city attorney of Huntington Beach.
Yep.
And it seemed you had one controversy after another that you were willing to take on. And you also served some time with the Trump administration and the Department of Justice. Now you're back here running against the evil and corrupt Rob Bonta. And he'd been in the hallways earlier talking with Monks and Merrill and I got a chance to talk with you,
Yes.
I'm always going to take advantage of it.
Excellent. Thank you for having me.
What for people who don't know who you are and don't really pay attention until it's time to vote, give us a rundown of your background. Like, who are you? Just a quick resume.
So I am an everyday Californian who's been extremely blessed with a great family. My wife is here of almost 30 years. She's with us today in studio. I've got 5 kids and 4 grandkids, thanks to my beautiful wife and all of her hard work. But also just blessed not only with my family, but also my legal career. As you know, you followed it most of the time. Just the most remarkable legal experiences in the field of law, like the envy of every other lawyer. I mean, I have tried First Amendment cases. I even had a Second Amendment issue in Huntington Beach. I fought Sacramento for years, as you know.
Well, about the time you showed up, between Jerry Brown and Gavin Newsom, they declared war on the independence of small cities and towns to govern their own jurisdiction, their own land, their own policies and zoning and things.
Yeah, and Huntington Beach is the 23rd largest city in the state of California out of almost 500. And it was a lot of work, 200,000 residents, 15 million visitors a year. And, you mentioned in the intro, I've been involved in a lot of controversy. And the thing is I never looked for trouble, but I was always willing to go to the mat and fight for my folks in Huntington Beach because of as you say, the crap coming out of Sacramento. All of these years, there has just been such an overreach. It's been unconstitutional. We see with the Stop Nick Shirley Act now more attacks on our constitutional rights. As city attorney of Huntington Beach, I was never afraid to stand up and fight Sacramento because I just wanted to protect everyday Californians. So I'm not a career politician or a professional politician. I'm just a career trial attorney. I've been in and out of court all of my career, even as city attorney. I was taking those cases that we talked about on the radio. I was taking those cases to trial. I was the one in court arguing the appeals. I've been in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal in various federal district courts. I am actually an experienced trial attorney, and Rob Bonta has been a career politician, which is why we're in the mess that we're in. Huntington Beach, by the way, I'm the top prosecutor there, or have been. I made Huntington Beach one of the safest cities in the state of California out of nearly 500. And contrast that to the 2026 Consumer Affairs Report that just came out that announced that California is one of the most dangerous states to live in the country. They ranked it as second most dangerous to live in. That's Rob Bonta's fault. So while Rob Bonta has his state is one of the most dangerous to live in, my city of Huntington Beach, one of the safest to live in, and we have the same state criminal laws available to us. There's no secret sauce in Huntington Beach. We just enforce the law. Yet Rob Bonta has allowed California in many places to turn into a wasteland. I was at Skid Row a few days ago with Sheriff Alex Villanueva, going around checking out the areas of downtown LA, Skid Row specifically, and there is so much trouble down there, so many people suffering, and it's all because of Rob Bonta. On camera, I say this is Rob Bonta's California. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Rob Bonta's California. We've got homeless everywhere. We've got people walking around like zombies. People are suffering at the hands of our leadership because our leadership, frankly, doesn't care about everyday Californians. They don't care about you and I. They literally don't care. And it's not Democrat, Republican. That's not it at all. These are elitists in Sacramento who don't give a damn about you and I. And so I'm fed up, and that's why I'm running. I'm not a career politician, but I have had enough, and I'm running hard in this race. I know we can take out Rob Bonta because Californians are waking up. They're pretty pissed at what they've been experiencing in this state with the corruption and the crime and all these other issues. And they're starting to realize it's not just Gavin Newsom, it's Rob Bonta too.
There's so much we could cover, but I want to go back to something you just talked about, Skid Row and just the homeless situation all over the state. Much of that is because existing laws are not enforced.
Exactly right.
Which I think you talked a lot about in your tour.
Exactly.
That there is plenty of legal tools to get them not only off the streets, but get them help.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of money and there's a lot of programs. Talk about
that.
that.
So Sacramento has been shrugging its shoulders to this problem for years. And then when they try to come up with a solution, it's, hey, we need more billions of dollars to funnel to our buddies. In the name of solving the homeless crisis. And what we did in Huntington Beach is, look, Huntington Beach has the potential for high crime and high homeless as any other state. Like I said, it's the 23rd largest with 200,000 residents and 15 million visitors a year. It's a beach town community. We should be a magnet for homeless people. What we did in Huntington Beach, though, is we cracked down on crime and we enforced all of the laws on the books, including the vagrancy laws. We reduced our homeless population by over 60%. And John, to your point, we got them off of the street and into county level services.
Let me talk about the the whole chain that a homeless person, the path they take, if they're found laying in a park, on the beach, on the street, in Huntington Beach, what do they do for this guy? Like what's the next stop and the next stop after that?
So for our enforcement involves police and caseworkers. We go out, we build a rapport over a few different contacts with each individual homeless person. So we build a rapport and we basically then approach them with a choice. Look, you can either go into a shelter here in Huntington Beach and then on to county services and get the help you need, or you're going to jail. They get a choice. It's binary. You're going to go to jail or you get off the street, but staying on the street is unacceptable and it's illegal. And so that's really what it boils down to. And so we've been very, very successful.
So what happens when most of them, when they hear that message?
I'd say about 60% of them take the services, and there are plenty of county level services. Every county, including LA County, is at the county level,
there's a lot of money.
Flush with cash.
A lot of money we get.
Flush with cash. Absolutely. So there are resources. About 60% take the resources. About 20% say, send me to jail. I'm going to be obstinate. And then about 20% say, you know what? I really could use help just getting back home. We in Huntington Beach bought airline tickets to get people back home and reunited with their families. So it's not too many people that, say, hey, like, send me to jail. I'm not going to go into services and I've got nowhere else to go. But a lot of them will take the services. There are food services, shelter services, mental health services, VA services, legal services, all of these things at the county through the county services at the local level.
We spend so much money for an extensive network of programs to get these people living well again.
Yeah.
And most of them take it.
They do take it. And it's shocking that our government
have some leverage on them.
Well, and here's the thing. People have got to stop saying courts and lawsuits and shrug shoulders, we're frozen, we're paralyzed, we can do nothing. No, Huntington Beach has proven, we are proof positive, that roll up your sleeves and go out and enforce. Yes, it takes work. That's the thing. Don't just sit here and say, we have to throw money at it. No, go roll up your sleeves, build a team, public works folks, caseworkers, police.
Well, so is it? You think it's just laziness? I never understood what is the upside for public officials, LA, Sacramento, to let this happen.
Well, there may be some complacence, but also there, as we know from the top down, there's a political agenda to keep this homeless industrial complex going. It's a good moneymaker for a lot of the NGOs and a lot of these other third parties that are, effectively on the government dole, right? They're getting money to them, and it's very lucrative for them. And they don't particularly want to solve the problem. Why? Because if they solve the problem, the money dries up. So there is this weird, funny incentive, this weird dysfunctional cycle where all of these third parties, and then check this out. Back to Rob Bonta. Let's not give him a pass on this. So this guy is the top law enforcement officer. He's responsible for public safety and even cleaning up the homeless throughout the state of California. There are reports that the fraud, waste, and abuse in California is near $525 billion. That's $22,000 per taxpayer. And the state auditor came out with a report, and I mentioned this on another program with you. The state auditor report came out and said that our state leaders have known about the waste, fraud, and abuse for years and did nothing about it. So Nick Shirley, thank you for sharing all of this and exposing it to the public. But state leadership, including Rob Bonta, has known about the waste, fraud, and abuse for years. That is money that was supposed to go to solving the homeless problem, getting people off the streets and into services. Instead, we know now that money went to third parties, his political contacts, his associations. He knew where that money was going. That's why he looked the other way. I say all the time on the campaign trail, he's been covering for corruption and running interference on truth and justice, including criminal justice. Rob Bonta is a real bad actor. People are suffering all over the state of California, including on Skid Row, because of Rob Bonta. When I'm Attorney General, all of that is going to change on day one. I guarantee it. I did it in Huntington Beach. I'm going to do it statewide.
Can you stay another segment?
I can.
All right. We have Michael Gates, former Huntington Beach city attorney, who's running for Attorney General against the evil and corrupt Rob Bonta. And we've got more with him coming up. Deborah Mark, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. Graphic photos of a teenage girl's dismembered body have been shown in court in Singer David's preliminary hearing. President Trump says Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will not be arrested in the U.S. We'll have more at the top of the hour, going to the 57 next.
Let me tell you about Sweet James. Injured in an accident, you need results, period. And your attorneys at Sweet James deliver them. When a firm like Sweet James has the reputation for taking cases to trial and winning, insurance companies get the message. They know they can't mess with their clients. The big corporations are great at treating you like a number. Sweet James makes sure they treat you like a person. You get to tell your story, and they help you recover what was taken from you. Sweet James has recovered over $1 billion for injured accident victims. If you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, call your accident attorneys at Sweet James. You pay no costs or fees until they win. The case review is free. The number is 800-9-million, 800-9-000-000. They have an office in Los Angeles. Results are not guaranteed. Sweet James, accident attorneys, 800-9-million, 800-9-000-000, sweetjames.com.
From your Toyota dealers traffic center, we make it easy. Brush fire off the 57 in Fullerton.
Brush fire in Fullerton. This is affecting the 57 southbound at Nutwood. That's where the 3 right lanes are off limits, and they've got that off-ramp shut down too. That drive is loading up away from your Belinda Boulevard and then out to Sun Valley. It's a stall, 170 North connector to the 5 North, blocking that roadway, slowing you down away from Roscoe Boulevard. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
If you're looking to sell your home, you call Seller's Advantage, and they're going to make you a cash offer. They're going to buy as is with cash, no need for repairs, and they'll close in days. And they might offer you a $10,000 advance to help you move. Go read their reviews online. Call for a no-obligation offer, 888-321-AS-IS, 888-321-AS-IS, 888-321-2747, sellersadvantage.com.
Seller's Advantage will buy your home, make it easy so that you don't have to worry. Sell happy with Seller's Advantage.
DRE number 0196165 Providence Realty DRE number 019152212.
This is 3-time Pro Bowler Sean Merriman. Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Cunol Turmeric.
The Red Sox will have to wait another day to attempt to have their winning streak go to 15. Their game tonight against the Orioles rained out. A doubleheader tomorrow. A milestone for Arizona's Nolan Arenado last night. He got his 2,000th career hit. He joins a rather exclusive club, the 6th to get 2,000 hits, 350 homers, and 10 Gold Gloves. The others, Griffey Jr., Mays, Schmidt, Bench, and K-Line. I'm Frank Arenado.
Doctors recommend turmeric more than any other supplement for joint health. Cunol Ultra High Absorption Turmeric is the #1 form of turmeric. We're clinically tested to support joint health and healthy inflammation. Cunol, science-backed, trusted by millions.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Curious how you would look? PlasticSurgeryUncensored.com. PlasticSurgeryUncensored.com.
Worried about inflation, market volatility, or the weakening dollar? More Americans are turning to physical gold and silver to help diversify their retirement savings. Right now, receive up to $25,000 in free silver with a qualifying purchase. Call 888-447-7857 now to speak with a gold specialist. That's 888-447-7857. Again, call 888-447-7857. Not a financial advisor. Precious metals involve risk. Free silver offers a 10% bonus in silver on qualifying purchases of premium mint coins. $10,000 minimum purchase required. Bonus silver capped to $25,000 and credited to customer account. See goldencrestmetals.com for full terms.
Take your private life off the market. Use incogni.com/KFI for 60% off.
If you run a business and need to get your message to your next customers fast, nothing is faster than audio with iHeart. Let us help you grow your business at the speed of sound today at 844-844-iHeart.
When power goes out and cell networks fail, AM radio can be a lifeline with local news, weather, and emergency information. But time is running out. AM radio could disappear from new cars unless Congress acts. Please text the 2 letters AM to 39179 and tell Congress to vote yes on the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act. Text the letters AM to 39179. Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP. This message furnished by this station.
Workdays work better with food, and not just any food.
the good stuff. That's why there's Easy Cater, the workplace food platform where you can order from a huge variety of great restaurants for any group size, anytime, anywhere, all in one place. Whether it's gourmet deli trays for the client meeting, spicy noodles for the night shift, tacos for the weekend crew, or a big box of brownies to tell your team, thank you. Just use Easy Cater, one platform to feed them all and feed them well. Start an order at easycater.com.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Experience a night that honors the heart of Guatemalan culture with the Dodgers on Thursday, July 30th as they take on the Mariners. With the purchase of a special ticket pack, you'll receive an exclusive Guatemalan Heritage Night jersey. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
Coming up on the next Gary and Shannon show.
A preliminary hearing is underway for singer David in the death of Celeste Rivas. We may hear some new evidence in that case.
The Gary and Shannon show starts tomorrow at 9.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. John Kobylt Show and Moist Line for Friday, 877-MOIST-86, 877-MOIST-86. Or use the talkback feature on the iHeart Radio app. Let's do another segment here with Michael Gates, who's running against the evil and corrupt Attorney General Rob Bonta. And Michael, as you might know, is the former city attorney for Huntington Beach. Right after Deborah's news at 4 o'clock, Carl DeMaio is coming on. Carl got the voter ID initiative on the ballot in November, and he is pissed off because Rob Bonta has done a rewrite on the title and summary. And I wanted to talk to you about this because this is news that just came out today, and Carl's going to explain it soon. What's your read on what he did here? Because the voter ID thing is pretty straightforward. You've got to bring ID, and then you get to vote. Well, turn his microphone on.
There's two takeaways from this. One, this shows how important the Attorney General is because it's that position, that office that writes the ballot titles and then also the ballot summaries for a proposition. And as you know from Prop 47 and 57 years ago, over 10 years ago, the public was duped, right? Like we were told by the Attorney General then, Kamala Harris, those propositions would advance public safety around schools and in our neighborhoods. And that was just that was an outright lie, right? And now Rob Bonta.
Safe Neighborhoods Act.
That's
Prop
exactly
47.
right. Exactly right. So what's peculiar about this one on Prop 39, which is the voter ID proposition that's going to be on the ballot in November, is there was sort of a first draft that the Attorney General's office put out for the title and the summary late last year. And the first draft was pretty honest. Like it was pretty straightforward. But now that the ballot measure has qualified, or now that the proposition has qualified for the ballot, and now it's popular. In fact, they say that some polls show that it's got 70% support throughout the state of California, this voter ID initiative. Now Rob Bonta is freaking out. And so he changed the ballot title. And now his proposed says, or not proposed, but his final says, prohibits that this Prop 39 prohibits citizens from voting unless they present government issued identification. So he's trying to scare people when they read the ballot title on Prop 39, the new voter ID law, or proposition to be law, to say that it prohibits citizens from voting. So he's trying to scare people. So the second takeaway on this is Rob Bonta is a bad actor, as you know. He hates election integrity measures. He hates voter ID. And John, as you remember, when Huntington Beach adopted its own local voter ID law, Rob Bonta came down to Huntington Beach and sued us for having a voter ID law. So we know where Rob Bonta stands on voter ID and any election integrity measure. He sued Shasta County over Measure B. This guy is going after any election integrity measure and any investigation. Remember, he went after Sheriff Bianco in Riverside, shutting that down in that investigation. So Rob Bonta, ladies ladies and gentlemen, is the enemy of election integrity. He is the enemy of voter ID.
They fight so hard on that issue.
Oh my gosh.
They don't want any oversight, any proof that the votes are legitimate.
Right.
Whatever's going on now, and we just went through, Spencer Pratt in L.A. and the ballot harvesting. They want to preserve this, so it's got to be really lucrative and productive for them.
Yeah, in L.A. with the Mayor Pratt election for the mayor there in L.A., I have already announced when I'm Attorney General, when I get elected in November and I get sworn in January, one of the first things I'm going to do in office as the new Attorney General is I will launch an investigation into LA's election, the June 2nd primary election, with the one that involved candidate Pratt for mayor, where he went from a strong second place and then suddenly fell to a distant third. I mean, that election, the LA June primary, should be investigated. We know that Bill Asaley from the Central District has already announced an investigation into voter fraud into LA. So there's already cause for concern. Where is our Attorney General stepping up and investigating?
Investigate anything.
That's right.
With all the fraud that we've talked about,
right?
The Medicaid fraud and the hospice fraud and any one of 10 other issues. Never is his name involved. Never has he opened an investigation or conducted any kind of prosecutions.
That's why I say that he was put in office by Newsom. He was appointed as our Attorney General in 2021. Literally to run cover for corruption, to run interference on truth and justice, including criminal justice, because of exactly what you said. He refuses to investigate. He doesn't want to know the truth. He wants to let the bad actors get away with bad actions without consequence. And so that's why, look, I have received so much support in my campaign for Attorney General to take on Rob Bonta, and people are coming out of the woodwork to support me because they say, Michael, we have got to return California to a law and order state. We need investigations into the fraud. And even if nothing is found through these investigations, then announce to the public that nothing was ever found, right? And then you build confidence in our systems, in our processes. No. But he won't even investigate in the first place.
No, nobody has any confidence in the vote anymore, especially here in LA. Michael Gates, we'll talk again soon. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Nice to meet your wife. And when we come back, Carl DeMaio on the phone to talk about in detail how Bonta has changed the wording of the voter ID initiative we're voting on in November. Deborah Mark has the news live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
KFI and KOST HD2, Los Angeles, Orange County. More stimulating talk.
More sweltering heat. I'm Deborah Mark, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Heat advisories and an extreme heat warning start tomorrow as a prolonged heat wave is expected to bring triple-digit temperatures to inland areas of Southern California.
The National Weather Service says we'll have hotter than normal conditions for the foreseeable future, along with higher risks for heat illness. A heat advisory for the LA County valleys and mountains lasts from 10 a.m. Wednesday to 8 p.m. Monday, with forecasters expecting highs of 97 to 107 degrees, as well as unusually warm overnight temperatures. Humidity will add to the discomfort. You know the drill. The Weather Service says drink plenty of water, find air-conditioned shelter, avoid prolonged sun exposure, and check on relatives and neighbors. Mark Ronner, KFI News.
The news is brought to you by Pacific Coast Termite. Graphic photos of a teenage girl's dismembered body have been shown in court as testimony got underway in a hearing to determine whether there's enough evidence to send singer David to trial in connection with the girl's murder. David Burke is charged with killing Celeste Rivas Hernandez, whose body was found in the trunk of his Tesla at a Hollywood tow yard back in September of last year. The girl's parents and LA County DA Hochman were present in court. The preliminary hearings expected to last 3 days. A stretch of Sunset Boulevard is still closed in West Hollywood days after a massive flooding caused by a broken water main. The DWP has finished pressure testing of the replacement section of pipe and is working to backfill with concrete the huge sinkhole created on Sunset. The attacks have ramped up between the U.S. and Iran as the memorandum of understanding has all but dissolved. President Trump says the U.S. is prepared to continue to attack Iran, and the Pentagon is asking for another $87 billion to pay for it. At an appropriations hearing, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth told the panel U.S. service members are facing challenges that haven't been faced by prior generations.
Not funding this department at $1.5 trillion, I believe, is the greatest threat that our nation faces.
He says without the money, the U.S. will face critical shortfalls that threaten its ability to also simply pay service members, replenish equipment and munitions, and sustain vital operations. President Trump says Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu will not be arrested in the U.S., despite what the mayor of New York City says. Mayor Zohran Mamdani told the New York Times podcast he's talking with the city's legal department about potentially arresting Netanyahu if he goes to New York City for the UN General Assembly in September. Mamdani says Netanyahu belongs in The Hague.
He's a war criminal who has been charged by the International Criminal Court.
President Trump wrote on social media, Benjamin Netanyahu will not be arrested in any way, shape, or form while in the United States of America. And Speaker of the UK Parliament, Sir Lindsay Hoyle, is visiting the U.S. Capitol to mark America's 250th birthday. He and House Speaker Mike Johnson spoke about the special bond and enduring friendship between the U.S. and UK. And in his remarks, Johnson emphasized the need for both nations to defend democracy.
And together we form the single greatest force for advancing human freedom and preserving the values of Western civilization.
He says there are two of the most exceptional nations the world has ever known. Southland weather from KFI, sunny and hot again tomorrow. Highs mid-80s to mid-90s. Metro LA, low 90s to around 100 in the valleys and the IE. Windy again in the IE. Low to mid-90s and windy in the high desert. Low to upper 70s for the beaches. Low to mid-80s inland OC. Right now, 88 in Tustin, 77 in Laguna Beach. It's 88 in Chatsworth and 90 in Van Nuys. The KFI Financial Update brought to you by Supershore, supershore.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your business insurance in one place. The Dow closed up 385, S&P 500 up 66, and NASDAQ up 329.
Lasting Smiles dental implants. If you got a mouthful of rotted, decayed teeth, you think anybody wants to see that? No, they don't. They don't want to look at that. It upsets their stomach. Why don't if you go to Lasting Smiles, you'll get a free comprehensive dental exam with full 3D imaging, a custom treatment plan, payments as low as $149 a month on approved credit. Mention KFI or John and get the Summer Smile Special. You'll look beautiful. You'll look handsome. You'll be a magnet. LastingSmiles.com. Call 844-GO-SMILE. 844-GO-SMILE. 844-GO-SMILE.
Seriously, my dealership just fixed the transmission.
We all know how it can be to go to the wrong place for transmission repair. Made up of over 800 pieces, the transmission is the most complex part of your car. So bring it to the transmission experts at AMCO. AMCO, always the right fix. AA MCO. Special financing available. Restrictions, limitations, and exclusions may apply. See AMCO.com for complete details.
Call 1-800-GO-AMCO today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
7 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Therapy Thursday with Ellen K is a new podcast. Real problems and the kind of drama you can't stop thinking about. Catch it on the iHeartRadio app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Lose the weight. Feel incredible. Just call 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL.
Therapy Thursday with Ellen K is a new podcast where secrets come out, emotions run high, and no topic is off limits. Brought to you by AirTasker. Whether it's a task that just popped up or you've been putting it off for weeks, local taskers are ready to help. Listen to Therapy Thursday with Ellen K now on the iHeartRadio app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival
presented by Capital One
is coming back to Las Vegas.
September 18th and 19th at T-Mobile Arena. Streaming live on Disney Plus and Hulu. A weekend full of superstar performances.
Tickets are on sale now at AXS.com.
Brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile, proud partner of the 2026 iHeartRadio Music Festival. Get that. This is my song feeling. Only at Metro.
KFI AM 640.
An iHeartRadio station. Guaranteed human.
KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. It's the John Kobylt Show. We're on from 3 to 6 after 6 o'clock. What did you miss? Well, listen to the podcast on the iHeart app. It's released shortly after 6 o'clock. We just had Michael Gates on, who's running for Attorney General against evil, corrupt Rob Bonta. And Bonta is in the news again. We're going to be talking with Carl DeMaio about him in just a moment. We're also live on YouTube. Subscribe, become a member, youtube.com/@John Kobylt Show. Rob Bonta has changed the language on Prop 39, which will be on the ballot in November. It's the voter ID initiative that Assemblyman Carl DeMaio and his organization, Reform California, got on the ballot. And right here in the middle of the election season, Bonta's changing the language. We got this post from David Tangipa, another assemblyman. The original language, and it had been approved for over a year, says this Prop 39 establishes additional voter identification and citizenship verification requirements. And now the new language from Bonta, listen to this spin, prohibits citizens from voting unless they present government-issued identification. Sounds more ominous, doesn't it? And it's designed to scare you, to say, oh, that sounds harsh. Maybe I should vote no. They know what they're doing. Let's talk now with Carl DeMaio, who wrote the original initiative. Carl, how are you?
I'm pissed. Can I just be very blunt? I am pissed. This is a corrupt act. Not surprising, because this is what they did with the gas tax repeal in 2018.
Yeah.
We've collected 1 million signatures on that. And they changed the title from gas tax repeal to eliminate road repair projects. So the original title, as just mentioned, that 1.5 million signatures were collected on for the petitions. And this title was put on our initiative when Rob Bonta was cocky. He didn't think we were going to get 1 million signatures, so he gave us a relatively okay, fairish title. It was establishes additional voter ID and citizenship verification requirements. So now, yesterday, he revised it at 5 p.m. To this poison pill. Prohibits citizens from voting unless they present government-issued identification. Invalidates mail ballots without 4 digits of a designated government ID on the outside of the envelope. So this is designed to put the thumb on the scale of this election.
Yeah, it's psychologically loaded wording to make this seem like an evil, diabolical plan.
Yeah, I mean, this is election tampering. It's election rigging, and these are the same people who sit there. They clutch their pearls and they say that they have to defend democracy. Bull crap. These are the malignant tumors on our democracy. Rob Bonta of the Bonta crime family, who can't really go after criminals. Instead, he's going after parents and churches and, any small business that's out there, any gun owner. He's going after law-abiding citizens, and he's literally making a mess of our election. This is all the more reason, John, why we need to fight like hell and pass voter ID in November. And this is going to be a tough fight because of this dishonest title. But I still think we're going to win because we came from behind on Prop 6. You were there with us.
Yeah.
When that title was given to us, the first poll showed that it was so bad that we were down at 23% in the polling. And yet what we did is we raised awareness. We beat pots and pans. We went into the street. We told people that Prop 6 was a misleading title, that it was really gas tax repeal. Word of mouth spread, and we moved the numbers all the way up to 48%. We would have won. I think that fight if we had just a little bit more time, a little bit more resources. This time around, we are so much better prepared. And I believe that even though this is not fair, what Rob Bonta has done with this misleading and biased ballot title, I believe we're going to win. And I believe it will send a stunning rebuke to the corrupt politicians of this state that even rigging the election, the voters still said, nope, we want voter ID.
Well, the voters passed Prop 36 a couple of years ago to bring back, to redeclare burglary and theft as crimes. And I think that shocked Sacramento because that won by better than 2-1. And also to make drug crimes. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it didn't have the title of, eliminates the right to vote for citizens. Come on. This is pretty bad. When I read it this morning, I looked at it and said, I knew that he might try a trick like this at the last minute, but this really takes chutzpah. I mean, prohibit citizens from voting is the first 4 words of this initiative. It's a lie. We want to prohibit illegal immigrants from voting. We want to make sure that every eligible legal voter gets their vote counted, which is why we don't want voter fraud. We don't want illegal immigrants voting because it cancels out the legitimate vote of citizens.
And this is legal when an attorney general puts a negative spin on a ballot initiative, a distortive spin to try to push voters one way or the other. That's all permitted.
It's not ethical. It shouldn't be done. It's corrupt. But remember, we live in the People's Republic of California, where we have a banana republic Supreme Court. The California Supreme Court is appointed by all the politicians. They're liberal, and they consistently carry water for the politicians.
This is beyond liberal. Like you said, this is corruption.
It is corruption. And in terms of our legal options, I'm going to, right after my discussion with you here, I'm jumping on my coalition call at 4:30 with our lawyer. And we're going to decide whether we want to even take a shot at suing. I believe we should, because even though the California Supreme Court will likely not give us any sort of fair outcome, I believe we need to at least fight. And I'm prepared to take this to the ballot, obviously, with this bad title. But if we have a 1 out of 5 chance that we're going to get a fair hearing at the Supreme Court of California, then we ought to take it. But my plea to everyone is this. If you don't like the corruption, if you don't like what Rob Bonta is doing to the voter ID initiative, then we need your help to make sure we get a yes vote on Prop 39. So go on the website and join the fight. Otherwise, you let evil win. And this is evil. This is misconduct. It's corruption. And if you don't get involved, then they win. So go on the website, voteridinitiative.com, sign up, contribute, become a volunteer. We need everyone in this fight at voteridinitiative.com.
Do you have the fundraising to go on a big media campaign when it comes time to get out the vote this fall?
So when we did Prop 6 in 2018, we only had about $700,000 to work with. Right now, we are working with about $3 million. So we have more money, but things are more expensive. Postage has gone up, TV ads have gone up, et cetera. But I believe we're in a much better position, and we almost won Prop 6. So I believe in people power. I believe in social media. I believe in going door to door. And so if you sign up as a volunteer, I will pay to print door hangers, and I will give you a list of only the Republicans and the independents in your neighborhood. I will not ask you to go knock on a Democrat door because you may not survive the conversation. I will only send you to people who already agree with you to make sure that they know the truth. Here is
in the polling, though. Don't most Democrats want voter ID, not only here but across the country?
Yes, just like most Democrats wanted to repeal the gas tax in 2018, most Democrats, the majority, 56%, want voter ID. 78% of independents, 93% of Republicans. So, look, once people know what they're voting on, we win. But here's the challenge. With a deceptive title on Prop 39 that Rob Bonta put on last night at 5 o'clock, we now have to go knock on doors in every neighborhood to tell them the truth, to hand them the plain English voter guide. And that's why I need volunteers to sign up at voteridinitiative.com. If people don't sign up, it ain't happening. But if you do sign up, I'll get you the door hangers. I will get you the list of people in your neighborhood, and we'll get this done.
All right. Thanks for coming on, Carl DeMaio. We'll talk again soon about this. We'll talk a lot about this as time goes on. Yeah, Bonta is such a snake. Deborah Mark, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. A bankruptcy court judge in L.A. clears the way for the sale of the so-called graffiti towers. And Tropical Storm Bertha is now heading for New Orleans. We will have more at the bottom of the hour.
I opened a new account. At Infinity Bank in Orange County. Let me tell you this. It was the most seamless, easiest process to switch to them. I want you to talk to the president of Infinity Bank, Victor Guerrero, and he'll talk to you anytime, any day. Here's his number, 657-223-1000. 657-223-1000. Infinity Bank, not trying to be the biggest bank, but the one that consistently provides excellent customer service, and they won't nickel and dime you on any fees. And take advantage of the limited time rate promotion with their money market account. It's one of the best rates in the U.S. Ask for Victor. Call 657-223-1000. Infinity Bank, member FDIC.
If you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, you need attorneys that listen, care, and stand up for you. And that's why you call the attorneys at Sweet James. They have the reputation that puts power and respect on your side so you can focus on recovering. If you're hurt in a crash, call Sweet James. They have an office in Los Angeles. 1-800-9-MILLION or go to sweetjames.com.
Just call Sweet James at 1-800-9-MILLION. Just call Sweet James, your accident attorneys.
You ever wonder how far an EV can take you on one charge? Well, most people drive about 40 miles a day, which means you can do all daily stuff no problem. Go to work, grab the kids at school, get the groceries, and still have enough charge to visit your in-laws in the next county. But they don't need to know that. And the best part, you won't have to buy gas at all. The way forward is electric. Explore EVs that fit your life at electricforall.org.
This is Sarah Spain with the latest from iHeart Women's Sports.
Presented by iHeartAdvertising.com.
One half of the inaugural Women's Lacrosse League Championship matchup is set. The Maryland Charm clinched their spot with a 21-17 win over the Boston Guard last week, the highest scoring game in WLL history. The California Palms can join them by winning their final regular season game against Boston August 8th or losing by 8 goals or fewer. For more women's sports stories, subscribe to Good Game with Sarah Spain on iHeart Podcasts.
Run a business and not thinking about radio? Think again, because people are listening to radio more today than they did 20 years ago. And only iHeartRadio connects with more Americans than TV, digital, even social. Learn how radio can help your business. Call 844-844-iHeart.
This report is sponsored by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
Have questions about plastic surgery? Get trusted answers from Dr. Raban at PlasticSurgeryUncensored.com.
Of course, you've heard me talk about Zellman's Minty Mouth. Far more than just a mint. It takes care of the bad breath in your mouth, gives you fresh breath for hours, but also takes care of what happens in your stomach because the foods you eat go into your stomach, and that can cause all of those odoriferous odors to come out of your body. So let me ask you a question about Zellman's. Would you take 15 seconds to say 15% to freshen your breath? That's going on right now at Zellman's. Go to Zellman's.com and use the code SAVE. Zellman's.com, use the code SAVE. The benefits: confidence, no lingering food breath, convenience, freshness after meals or social situations, no garlic hangover. So how about the negatives? Actually, I can't think of any. Zellmans.com, that's Zellmins.com. Use the code SAVE for fresh, clean breath for hours. Zellmans.com, that's Zellmins.com. The code is SAVE.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
With Norwegian Cruise Line, you don't have to choose. The Arch of Cabo San Lucas and the quarter-mile waterfront promenade, the jungles of Puerto Vallarta and the luxurious Mandara Spa and Salon, the historic cathedrals of Ensenada, and the adult-only escape of Spice H2O. See, you don't have to choose just one kind of vacation, but you do have to choose Norwegian. Book your 7-day Mexican Riviera cruise sailing from LA or San Diego. Visit ncl.com, call your travel advisor, or 1-888-NCL-CRUISE. Norwegian Cruise Line. It's different out here.
You heard everything. Incredible! iHeartRadio and Fox Sports brought you every 2026 FIFA World Cup moment.
Absolutely free.
Magical! The entire sports world is waiting for you on the iHeartRadio app.
Football is coming.
Touchdown! The official NFL podcast network, plus the second half of the baseball season.
Oh my goodness!
All the sports you love, all in one place, all free. Download the free iHeartRadio app now
and search sports.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
On the next Bill Handel Show, after decades of urging families to communicate more, some therapists are now taking the opposite approach. Cut them off. Yeah, baby. That's coming up tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock on the next Bill Handel Show.
$1,000 giveaway.
Now is your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Fun. That's F-U-N. Enter it now at KFIAM640.com/cash.
KFI.
Fun. That's what this is. That's the word. Enter it at KFIAM640.com/cash. And if you win, you'll get an email saying so. Check your junk and spam folder for it, too. Every hour, every weekday, there is a new keyword. And it's from 9 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. And next chance to win here is 5:20 on KFI. We just had Carl DeMaio on because that snake, that skunk, that dishonest, corrupt rat, the Attorney General Rob Bonta, has rewritten the Prop 39 initiative. And this is really important, especially here in Los Angeles, because Prop 39 requires you to show voter ID. It requires you to show proof of citizenship. And that was the straightforward ballot language for a year since DeMaio's group, Reform California, gathered the signatures, over 1 million of them, got it on the ballot. Originally, it said, establishes additional voter identification and citizenship verification requirements. Now, Bonta has turned it into prohibits citizens from voting unless they present government-issued identification. See the negative slant, the negative spin to make you feel something scary, something funky's going on that's going to keep you and other people from voting? And there's other things that they spun and put negative attributes to. And he is so blatantly unfair and dishonest and manipulative, this Rob Bonta. Now, there is no excuse for not wanting voter ID. None. Zero. There should be 100%. If you're against people showing voter ID and showing proof of citizenship, that means the corruption benefits your side. Period. You're enjoying it. You may know it's wrong, but you don't care because your side gets the boost out of it. And that's what Bonta's doing because he is a dishonest rat. Now, if you remember, the Trump administration has made this a national crusade. And they claimed the other day that 4 states, including California and New Jersey, have 250,000 non-citizens registered to vote. Well, turns out that in New Jersey, the Democratic Governor Mickey Sherrill admitted that they have 6,600 non-citizens registered to vote by mistake. Listen to this clip. This is Mickey Sherrill making the big admission.
We are here to share information I learned of a few days ago. In June of 2023, nearly 3 years before I became governor, a serious software error in New Jersey's motor vehicle system led to the improper voter registration of what we believe to be roughly 6,600 people in our state. When New Jerseyans applied for a driver's license or identification at the MVC, they were asked if they wanted to register to vote. In the case of this error, some individuals indicated that they weren't citizens and weren't eligible to vote, but the software registered them anyway. The error in the software was corrected a year later in June of 2024. That is more than 2 years ago. I learned of this last Wednesday, and I immediately ordered my chief counsel to launch a comprehensive investigation. Currently, the Division of Elections is working to ensure anyone who is illegally registered is removed from the voter rolls. Initial analysis shows that fewer than 400 newly registered individuals voted in an election due to this software error.
She also said, I am appalled by the reckless failures that allowed this to happen, and the lack of transparency shown by those in charge at the time. Fellow Democrat Phil Murphy was in charge at the time. That's who she replaced. So I'll give her credit for admitting that this went on and that there were 6,600 people illegally registered to vote, and that a few hundred actually did vote. And she did say she's appalled, and she is upset with the old administration covering it up. But you don't hear Newsom and Bonta doing that. Newsom and Bonta are continuing the cover-up. If they have 6,600 in New Jersey, how many do you think we have here? New Jersey was not exactly a hotbed of illegal immigration compared to California. And New Jersey is, I think, population-wise, about 1/5 the size of California. And we have millions of illegal aliens here. I think about 4 million. And most of the adults have driver's licenses. And I think the error rate in California would be a lot higher than any other state. But, of course, I think it's the plan. And they don't want to disrupt their own plan if it's working. If they've got illegal aliens registered and they're voting and they're ballot harvesting, of course they're against voter ID. Of course they are. And of course, Bonta, this stooge, would change the language on the Prop 39 initiative. But in New Jersey, it turns out the Trump administration was right, and it forced Jersey to admit to it. All right, when we come back, two curious things. How is it that by all testing, 4th graders, 8th graders, 12th graders have less understanding of reading, math, science than ever before in California? It's getting worse and worse, but they have the highest GPAs that students have ever had in the state. How does that happen? We know what's going on. We're going to talk about it when we come back. Deborah Mark, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Testimony is now underway in a hearing to determine if there's enough evidence to make singer David stand trial in connection with the killing of a teenage girl whose dismembered body was found in the front trunk of his Tesla at a tow yard in Hollywood last year. David Burke is charged with capital murder in the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Prosecutors say he killed her to stop from revealing a sexual relationship between them. Burke has pleaded not guilty through his attorneys. The news is brought to you by Seller's Advantage. A bankruptcy court judge in L.A. has cleared the way for the sale of the so-called graffiti towers downtown. An agreement was announced in February to sell the abandoned Oceanwide Plaza for $470 million. The ruling yesterday followed the withdrawal of objections by both the city and county of L.A. The towers were supposed to include a hotel and luxury condos, but construction stopped in 2019 when the parent company ran out of money. It's since been a magnet for taggers and some daredevils. The state's largest union has filed a complaint over Governor Newsom's return to office order.
Newsom is requiring most California state workers to be in the office 4 days a week, and the rule's been in effect since July 1st. Many workers want the rule dropped, saying they proved remote work is effective during the pandemic. Over 100,000 state workers are affected. Others already work on site full-time. SEIU Local 1000 represents 96,000 workers and says remote work saves money, reduces traffic, and lowers emissions. The union supports a bill for more flexible work policies. Mark Rauner, KFI News.
Tropical storm Bertha is now headed for New Orleans, but meteorologist Samara Theodore says it probably won't get any stronger than what it is now.
It's got a lot of dry air and wind shear ripping it apart, but it's a tropical storm nonetheless, so I want folks to just prepare for some heavy rainfall.
She says it's expected to be in Houston by Friday, but as a low pressure system. And the rescheduled White House Correspondents' Dinner is happening this week.
The White House Correspondents Association says the event will be held on Friday at the Waldorf Astoria in Washington, D.C. This comes after an armed man opened fire inside the Washington Hilton during the original dinner on April 25th, leading to the event being postponed. The suspect, Cole Thomas Allen, was arrested and charged with several crimes, including an attempt to assassinate the president. President Trump has said that he will attend the rescheduled event. Michael Kastner, KFI News.
We're going to go to the 105 next.
GiveMeTheVIN.com, where you can sell your car in a hot minute. Try it. Enter your VIN number. Get an offer fast. GiveMeTheVIN.com. Their offers beat CarMax and Carvana every day. And if they can't do it, they can't beat the offer, they'll pay you $100. GiveMeTheVIN.com will get your check on the spot. Super easy, super fast. GiveMeTheVIN.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVIN.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Southline weather from KFI, sunny and hot tomorrow. Highs mid-80s to mid-90s, Metro LA. Low 90s to around 100 in the valleys and the IE. Windy again in the IE. Low to mid-90s and windy in the high desert. Low to upper 70s for the beaches. Low to mid-80s inland to OC. Right now, 83 in San Juan Capistrano, and it's 88 in Staten. Crash on the 105 in Hawthorne.
It's eastbound right before Crenshaw Boulevard. It's cleared away now. They've got it cleared out of the roadway, but traffic is still pretty heavy from Nash Street in Long Beach on the 710 northbound before the 405. Wreck on the right shoulder. That's got things stop and go from Pico. And in East LA on the 710 southbound before the 60. Crash in the next to the left lane. Your stop and go from Floral Drive. And because of that situation. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Randy Fuller.
Want up to $25,000 in free silver? When you make a qualifying purchase through Golden Crest Metals, you can receive up to $25,000 in real silver added to your account. Call 888-447-7857 now for your free information kit. That's 888-447-7857. Again, call 888-447-7857. Not a financial advisor. Precious metals involve risk. Free silver offers a 10% bonus in silver on qualifying purchases of premium minted coins. $10,000 minimum purchase required. Bonus silver capped to $25,000 and credited to customer account. See goldencrestmetals.com for full terms.
Love your legs again. Feel incredible. Just call 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL.
Tap into happy hour with half-price pizzas and select apps every weekday at Yard House. Find yours at yardhouse.com.
Are you like millions of Americans who avoided filing their taxes this year because you're afraid you'll owe the IRS thousands, tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars? Well, you don't need to be afraid anymore. Tax Relief Advocates has the solution. We can file your back tax years and may be able to reduce or even eliminate what you owe. With over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, we've helped over 100,000 Americans just like you permanently and painlessly resolve their IRS debt. A resolution specialist is waiting to speak to you now, who will let you know what tax debt reduction you may qualify for. Don't wait. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call our tax relief hotline now to see what you qualify for at 800-511-0719. 800-511-0719. Again, that's 800-511-0719. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
When power goes out and cell networks fail, AM radio can be a lifeline with local news, weather, and emergency information. But time is running out. AM radio could disappear from new cars unless Congress acts. Please text the 2 letters AM to 39179 and tell Congress to vote yes on the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act. Text the letters AM to 39179. Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop. This message furnished by the station.
Call 844-GO-SMILE to learn about the new Lifestyle Smile dental implants from Lasting Smiles.
OPL Law, your advocates and your voice when you need it most. OPLlaw.com.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
I suffered with plantar fasciitis for almost 20 years. I would try drugstore insoles and supports.
If you suffer with plantar fasciitis, we know the search for pain relief can feel like a hopeless ordeal.
I've been through surgeries, foot injections. I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life.
At the Good Feet store, we hear stories every day of all kinds of cheap inserts, expensive shoes, and other failed remedies people have tried that just didn't work.
I was trying all different things. Not a single one worked. And then I was driving past the Good Feet store, and I thought, why not? Give it a try. They wanted to make sure that they gave me the right arch support for my feet. Then it was like, okay, this is different. These make a difference.
I'm so glad I met Good Feet. It changed my life.
Don't lose hope. Give the Good Feet store a try. We have 11 area locations. Find the one closest to you at goodfeet.com.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk radio. John Kobylt Show. And we're on every day from 3 until 6. After 6 o'clock, the podcast, John Kobylt Show, on demand on the iHeart app. And you ought to listen to hour number 1, 3 o'clock hour. We had Michael Gates on, who's running against Rob Bonta for the Attorney General spot in California. Wait, what's his proper title? I was calling him something. The evil and corrupt? Something on. I had a whole list.
You called him a snake, too.
And a snake, yeah. The snake, Rob Bonta. I got so many names, I can't remember them all. Moist line is 877-MOIST-86, 877-MOIST-86. Usually talkback feature on the iHeart Radio app. Evil and corrupt, that's what it was. Oh, and we're live on YouTube, too. All right, so this, there are certain debates that have metastasized over the last few years that I am so sick of because they're based on such BS and nonsense. And one of them is on standardized testing. And I have been hearing this garbage for so many years, and it's all a bunch of lies. And it's part of it's part of the woke movement, which is largely being defeated after a 10-year run. Katie Grimes did a comprehensive story on this at CaliforniaGlobe.com. And in a nutshell, reading and math scores on standardized tests in California are now lower than they were over 30 years ago, while grade point averages are much higher, which is impossible. You can't have a low math and reading proficiency score and at the same time have a 4.0 or a near 4.0 grade average. One of them is wrong, and it's the grade point average that's wrong. And Katie Grimes lays out how this happened. There's a new round of reports. The National Report Card, also known as the National Assessment of Educational Progress. This also goes for SAT and ACT tests. These numbers are incredible. Do you know, this is for the whole state of California. And this is the gold. California is once the gold standard in public education. Now it's one of the worst states in the nation. It's behind Louisiana and Mississippi. Fourth grade math, 65% of the students not proficient. That means they don't meet the minimum standard that they have in fourth grade. 65%. Fourth grade reading, 71% don't read well enough to make the grade. 71%. And what's amazing is in eighth grade, the numbers get worse. In eighth grade, 3/4 of the students not proficient in math. 72% not proficient in reading. The numbers are worse in eighth grade. They're bad in 12th grade. 12th grade math scores were below their level in 2005. 12th grade reading scores, get this, 12th grade reading scores, 10 points lower in 2024 than in 1992. Over 30 years pass, and California reading scores in 12th grade are 10 points lower. So the public education system in California as a whole is a massive failure. And they have an insane amount of money that's been spent on them, these students. But at the same time, their grade point averages have gone up and up and up. And now having a 4.0 is much less rare than it used to be. And professors at universities see this. UC San Diego found that in a 5-year period, and by the way, a lot of the standards were thrown out the window in 2020 during that bizarre George Floyd hysteria. All these woke jackasses were trying to claim that these tests are racist. They're not racist. You just don't like the results. So you try to bully people and embarrass them and frighten them. The tests reflect what the tests reflect. If you don't like it, you got to fix your school. UC San Diego reported a 30-fold increase in 5 years. Freshmen with math skills below high school level. That is astonishing. They'd gotten rid of using standardized tests to get into the college. So UC San Diego took in thousands of students who couldn't do math, not at the high school level. 70% could not do it at the middle school level. Middle school, 6th grade. You got all these wannabe college graduates sitting at UC San Diego. 70%. Found the same thing at UC Berkeley. They're so sick of it. The professors are so sick of it at UC Berkeley. Now, you can imagine the UC Berkeley faculty probably slightly woke, don't you think? They signed an open letter. 1,400 members of the faculty signed an open letter. They want the standardized test back. They said students are wildly unprepared. The faculty at Berkeley, which is an Ivy League quality school, they had to reteach middle school math in college courses to deal with the influx of these wokeified students who didn't know how to do basic math. Meantime, the GPAs kept going up and up. By the way, Yale, Caltech, Dartmouth, other high-end schools have reinstated standardized tests. They found that standardized tests do predict how successful you're going to be, both in school and in life. So if you or your kid has a bad standardized test, then you or your kid has to find a way to do better. But it is an accurate reflection of where you are right now in your academic talents. Period. You don't like it? Stop dragging down everybody else's standards. So Katie Grimes wrote, here's what's happened in the school districts. The woke district leaders pressured teachers to get rid of D's and F's, allowed unlimited retakes of tests, drop zeros that they had gotten during the course, and or they had to base grades on something called mastery without any penalties for being late or bad behavior. It was all described as equity measures, again, because of the George Floyd insanity. In LAUSD and San Diego Unified, big gaps, high passing rates in classes, low proficiency on independent standardized tests. And one analysis connected lenient grading to worse long-term outcomes. In other words, if you have lenient grading where you're getting A's and B's instead of the C's and D's, you make less money because you don't learn that you're You're performing badly in school and you don't know stuff. Well, when you get into the job market, people who are supervisors and executives, they can pick out people who don't know stuff, who faked it, who came from some school that was inflating grades. You last about 5 minutes, so you earn less money. You don't get the job. You're pouring coffee. Yeah, you're mixing coffee at Starbucks. That's what you're doing. Because very quickly, people in real lines of work can tell you don't have it. Nobody gives a crap about your GPA. If you got into colleges without a standardized test, you're going to get a worthless document that you're going to graduate with. And you know what's funny? And this is going to be part 2 when we come back. Nate Silver studies election demographics, and he discovered something today and posted it, and it caused a sensation. The people who are most likely far left, members of the DSA, into all the woke nonsense, the ones who are far left tend to have postgraduate degrees, and they're making crappy salaries because they got worthless nonsense degrees that have no value in the American economy. And that's why they want socialism. They want socialism because they swung and they missed. They got a worthless degree and they're broke and they got a lot of student debt. I'll tell you about it when we come back. Deborah Mark, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. The singer known as David has been in court in L.A. for a preliminary hearing in his murder case. And L.A. DWP crews are nearly done backfilling a giant sinkhole on Sunset Boulevard. We'll have more at the top of the hour. We're going to the 405 next.
All right, when you sign your insurance policy, running a business, a lot of brokers, that's the finish line for them. There's a handshake, they get a commission, and they're done, they're gone. You may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. Now, your business runs all year, and so do the gaps, and so do the risks. So I'm telling you about SuperSure. If your company owns more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, the CFO, the HR manager, it can be too complex just to buy a policy online. SuperSure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and your employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts, which translates your current policy into plain English, so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can actually estimate what your business is worth and you know exactly what needs protecting. Go to supersure.com, one super agency, one powerful platform, all your business policies in one place. Go to supersure.com, supersure.com.
Paid for by SuperSure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Southline weather from KFI. It's going to be hot again tomorrow. Highs upper 70s to the triple digits. This report brought to you by iHeartAdvertising.com. From your Toyota dealer's traffic center, we make it easy. Crash on the 405 in the Sepulveda Pass.
Northbound, right before Mulholland, Skirball, that's a crash right shoulder. A couple of cars. Things are slow from Venice Boulevard, though it's probably adding about a half an hour to your drive. In North Hills on the 405 northbound to Roscoe, that's another right shoulder crash. Slowing you back to Mulholland, Skirball. Probably about a 10-minute delay there. Now, West Hollywood still with that problem on the water main break. Sunset Boulevard closed both directions between Sherborne and San Vicente. Holloway Drive is also closed both ways between Sunset Boulevard and Palm. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Randy Fuller.
I just opened a new bank account at Infinity Bank in Orange County, and it was the most seamless, easiest process to switch. Victor Guerrero, good guy. He's the president of Infinity Bank, and he will talk to you anytime you want, any day. His number is 657-223-1000, 657-223-1000, and talk to him about switching your accounts. Infinity Bank is not trying to be the biggest bank, but the one that consistently provides excellent customer service, and they won't nickel and dime you on any fees. And take advantage of the limited time rate promotion with their money market account. It's one of the best rates in the whole country. Ask for Victor, the president. Here's his number, 657-223-1000. I switched to Infinity Bank. You do too. Infinity Bank, member FDIC.
Run a business and not thinking about podcasting? Think again. More Americans listen to podcasts than ad-supported streaming music from Spotify and Pandora. And as the #1 podcaster, iHeart's twice as large as the next two combined. Learn how podcasting can help your business. Call 844-844-iHeart.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Hey, y'all, it's Dean Sharp. American Vision Windows wants you to declare your independence from dated, tired windows. So this July, you get $1,776 off new windows and enjoy better energy savings, curb appeal, and comfort. But you have to book this July. Visit AmericanVisionWindows.com or call them at 888-686-8249, 888-686-8249. New customers only. Restrictions apply. Call or see website for details. Offer ends July 31st.
Visit LearCapital.com for your free gold investment kit. That's LearCapital.com.
In this edition of the Marketers Report, Chris Eppel, head of marketing for the Americas, Harman JBL, weighs in on the importance of audio.
It's been amazing over the last couple of years to see what's happened with audio. We've doubled our investment in the last 2 years in the audio space. We find it to be highly critical to our business.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia connects marketers to the audiences, live conversations, and trusted influencers you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartAdvertising.com.
Identity theft can cost more than you think. Drained investment accounts, stolen tax returns, lost wages, expenses for lawyers. It's a lot. That's why LifeLock is backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which covers up to $1 million for stolen funds, fees, and experts and lawyers, and out-of-pocket expenses. Don't face the burden of identity theft alone. Protect your future and finances with LifeLock. Join now. Save up to 30% off your first year with promo code BECK at LifeLock.com. 1-800-LifeLock, promo code BECK. LifeLock.com. Terms to apply.
All the big moments of the 2026 FIFA World Cup were heard live on the free iHeartRadio app. There's the final whistle.
Sports never stops.
The return of the NFL, baseball's second half.
And breaking news always.
Download the free iHeartRadio app now. KFI, AM 640. More stimulating talk.
The San Andreas is unusually quiet lately.
Yeah, aside from a few tremblers here and there, it's just building pressure.
Which has the internet wondering if we're closer to the big one.
You don't need to listen to the internet. You need to listen to Monks and Merrill to find out for sure. That's tomorrow starting at noon and always on demand on the iHeartRadio app.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio, John Kobylt Show. We're on every day from 3 to 6. And you can follow us on social media at John Kobylt Radio for everything. YouTube's a little different. You can watch us on YouTube right now. YouTube.com/at John Kobylt Show. And we're live on YouTube right now. I was talking about how Katie Grimes did this great story, and we'd heard pieces of this story from different articles, different research, but she just stitched it all together beautifully. CaliforniaGlobe.com, you should read it. And it's clear. Massive, massive, ongoing disaster for decades in California in the public school system. Because 2/3 to 3/4 of 4th graders, 8th graders, 12th graders cannot read at grade level, cannot do math, can't do science. And the more years they spend in school, the worse they get. Meantime, they have big grade point averages. The colleges, all the woke colleges, succeeded in getting rid of SAT scores and ACT scores because it's all racist, you know. And it's not. And now they're finding by letting in thousands of students, basically unvetted, you don't know what's going on in their brains, you don't know what's been retained, that they don't know math, they don't know how to read. They certainly don't know science. I mean, there's thousands of kids at Berkeley and UC San Diego who can't do middle school math. Can you imagine being these Berkeley professors? Boy, some of the professors who've been there several decades, how shocked are they? They got to do remedial 5th grade math? Well, let me take this a step further, because Nate Silver has done election analysis for years, looking at demographics, who votes for who and why. Do you know what the most democratic voting group in America is? These are the farthest left, the most consistent Democrat voters. These are the people who want progressives, socialists, DSA members. It is voters who have postgraduate degrees. These are the ones who get master's degrees and doctorates. But they don't make much money because they've gotten their master's and doctorates in probably racial equity or sexual equity or trans equity and sociology courses. And it's all nonsense and it's all useless. You can't even pour coffee with those degrees. Do you know 70% of the graduates with an advanced degree that make $30,000 to $60,000, 70% vote for Democrats. So they got an advanced degree, a master's or a doctorate. They make no money. They're pissed off, angry, bitter. So they want socialism. You're wondering who wants socialism? It's the people who failed in capitalism because they took woke degrees, and the timing is perfect. The woke degrees really exploded in popularity over the last 15 years. And it's the Gen Z crowd. It's the under 30 crowd. They got their worthless woke degree. They went to the job market. No jobs anymore, especially after the corporations finally regained their sanity in the last 5 years and dumped all those human resource diversity jobs. 70% postgraduate voters making $30,000 to $60,000 a year. Here's one category. Making less than $30,000 a year with a postgraduate degree. How do you even do that? How's that possible? Oh, and they have huge debts. Huge college loan debts. See, imagine you have like $50,000, $70,000, $100,000 you owe because you went to school, not for 4 years. You went to school for 6 years or 8 years. Massive debts, six-figure debts. You're making $60,000 a year. You got a degree that everybody laughs at. You're pouring coffee. Yeah, you want socialism. You want to be bailed out. That's what you want. You want the money from people who got degrees that were worth something and are making six figures at their job and are paying back their loans. Isn't that crazy? But it makes sense, right? It all makes sense. Who would vote for socialism? People who aren't making money. And it turns out working class voters who truly have much less money don't vote for socialism. It turns out it's the educated who are making money because they studied woke for 6 years in college. That's what it is. High education, low income, the most liberal cluster of voters. The share of voters identifying as very liberal breaks out according to income and education. And the highest percentage are postgraduate degrees making $30,000 to $60,000 a year. They're educated, they're poor, they're broke. They want socialism. They want to steal money from successful people. That's the whole motivation for the DSA, for the progressive movement, for the whole left wing. All right, we got more coming up. Deborah Mark live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
KFI and KOST HD2, Los Angeles, Orange County. More stimulating talk.
More heat. I'm Deborah Mark, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. A prolonged heat wave is bringing dangerously high temperatures to parts of Southern California through early next week.
The National Weather Service has issued heat advisories and warnings, saying hot daytime and unusually warm night conditions bring an elevated risk for heat illness. The valleys and mountain areas could reach up to 107 degrees. Antelope Valley has temps forecast from 100 to 108, with downtown LA and inland areas around 96. Officials encourage residents to check on those vulnerable to the heat. People without access to AC can find relief at public libraries, rec centers, and senior centers. Information about cooling centers is available by calling 311. Eileen Gonzalez, KFI News.
The news is brought to you by Seller's Advantage. David Burke, the singer known as David, has been in court in L.A. for a preliminary hearing in his murder case. ABC's Alex Jones says prosecutors say the 21-year-old killed a teenage girl after she threatened to expose their alleged sexual relationship.
First, they dealt with a couple of things, one being whether he was going to be shackled in the courtroom, and the judge decided that he will be shackled. The handcuffs will come off, so at least he can write and he can drink water.
Investigators say Celeste Rivas Hernandez's body was found badly decomposed in the trunk of Burke's car last year. LADWP crews are nearly done backfilling a giant sinkhole on Sunset Boulevard following the rupture of a 36-inch wide water main that flooded West Hollywood. Crews have put 30 truckloads of concrete slurry into the trench following thorough pressure testing. West Hollywood Mayor John Hallman says they're also making sure all the leaks are plugged.
Some of it is dependent on our own assessment of how it needs to be done to do it safely.
The DWP says barring any unexpected issues or delays, it expects to reopen Sunset Boulevard and get the trunk line back in service later this week. More than 900 complaints have been filed over the stink from that burned out Lineage Logistics warehouse in Boyle Heights.
The complaints were sent to the South Coast Air Quality Management District. People in Boyle Heights have now been dealing with the fire and its aftermath for more than a month. State air regulators recently said Lineage must deliver a more robust approach to controlling the putrid smell coming from millions of pounds of rotting food. AQMD has now issued 7 violations to Lineage for, quote, discharging such quantities of air contaminants to cause injury, detriment, nuisance, or annoyance, end quote. AQMD says it also sent the company a demand letter requiring it to submit an improved odor mitigation plan. Daniel Martindale, KFI News.
So far, only about 3.5 million of the 85 million pounds of rotten food has been removed. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says the Trump administration's response to the cyclosporiasis outbreak has been good. The CDC has linked the parasite to shredded iceberg lettuce at some Taco Bell locations, but Kennedy says it is under control.
We've identified the source of the outbreak. We and the companies that have been involved have implemented a recall.
There are at least 1,600 cases in 5 states. Defense Secretary Hegseth says the war against Iran has cost $37.5 billion so far. Hegseth's been questioned at a Senate hearing ahead of a $95 billion Republican package to fund the military, along with aid to farmers and voting law changes that are top White House priorities. Several times during his address, protesters interrupted Hegseth. Senate Subcommittee Chair Susan Collins says the war in Iran has critics, but U.S. service members need those funds to continue.
The fact remains that there are must-pay bills and urgent requirements facing the department that affect the ability of our troops to be well-trained.
Defense Secretary Hegseth says not funding the department, $1.5 trillion, is the biggest threat to the U.S. And House Speaker Mike Johnson has welcomed Speaker of the UK Parliament Sir Lindsay Hoyle to the U.S. Capitol to mark America's 250th birthday. Sir Lindsay says what unites both countries is their belief in democracy.
In a very dark world, in dangerous places, that peace is what we must strive for, but democracy must be our goal and our objective. So together we will deliver that.
Johnson says the two nations will continue to be beacons for liberty and freedom. Going to the 91 next.
You can't walk around with a rotted out mouth and expect to have friends, all right? Nobody wants to look at that. Go to Lasting Smiles, get their dental implants. They have the Lasting Smiles Summer Smile Special. And if you have a mouth filled with rotted, decayed teeth, they're damaged, they're missing, you get dental implants, you will become handsome, beautiful, popular. You'll have a new magnetism around you. Get a free comprehensive dental exam with full 3D imaging, custom treatment plan, payments as low as $149 a month on approved credit. Best thing you could do for yourself. Mention KFI or John and get the Summer Smile Special at Lasting Smiles. 844-GO-SMILE. LastingSmiles.com. 844-GO-SMILE. 844-GO-SMILE.
Southland weather from KFI. Sunny and hot again tomorrow. Highs mid-80s to mid-90s. Metro LA, low 90s to around 100 in the valleys and the IE. Windy again in the IE, low to mid 90s and windy again for the high desert, low to upper 70s for the beaches, low to mid 80s inland OC. Right now, 81 in Dana Point, 87 in Anaheim, 86 in Diamond Bar, and 87 in Simi Valley. The KFI Financial Update brought to you by Supershore. Supershore.com, one super agency, one powerful platform, all your business insurance in one place. The Dow closed up 385, S&P 500 up 66, and NASDAQ up 329. Crash on the 91 in Yorba Linda.
It's eastbound, approaching Gypsum Canyon Road, and just cleared away, actually, out of the roadway. Traffic still at a stop, though, from Weir Canyon. In Sepulveda Pass, they've cleared that crash, too, on the 405 northbound before Mulholland. That left you stop and go from Venice, but things are moving a little better now. In North Hills, on the 405 northbound to Roscoe Boulevard, crash has been cleared out of the way. It left traffic stop and go from the Mulholland Skirball, just that two-car crash. Satakoy, we've had trouble for the 126 eastbound, the on-ramp from the 118. A semi overturned there, so the on-ramp is closed. They're shutting down Wells as well. And in West Hollywood, Sunset Boulevard still closed, as we heard. Both directions between Sherbourne and San Vicente. Holloway Drive is also closed in both directions between Sunset and Palm. This is all because of that water main break in West Hollywood. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Randy Fuller.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Visit the Good Feet store today. We have 11 area locations. Find the one closest to you at goodfeet.com. Walk-ins are always welcome.
Love your legs again. Feel incredible. Just call 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL.
If you haven't had a termite inspection in the last 3 years, don't wait for costly damage. Call Pacific Coast Termite for a free termite inspection from a licensed technician. If you have termite activity, we have the right treatment. No tent, no poisonous gas, no move out. Orange oil treatment will have minimal disruption at home with tenants or your business. Get 10% off, a 2-year warranty, and 90 days same as cash. OAC, serving all of SoCal. Call 800-PACIFIC. PacificCoastTermite.com. Some restrictions apply.
Curious how you would look? PlasticSurgeryUncensored.com. PlasticSurgeryUncensored.com.
Tap into happy hour with half-priced pizzas and select apps every weekday at Yard House. Find yours at yardhouse.com.
Therapy Thursday with Ellen K is a new podcast. Confessions, impossible dilemmas, and advice that hits home. Catch every episode on the iHeartRadio app and wherever you get your podcasts.
KFI AM 640. An iHeartRadio station. Guaranteed human.
KFI AM 640. We're stimulating talk radio. John Kobylt Show. Again, another hour. We're on from 3 to 6. After 6 o'clock, John Kobylt Show on demand on the iHeart app. Special note, in the 3 o'clock hour, we had Michael Gates on, the former city attorney for Huntington Beach. He's running for attorney general against Rob Bonta. And you should hear that interview that I did with him. It's second half of hour number 1 on the podcast because Bonta really has to be driven out of office. He is a dirty, slimy snake, and we're going to be doing a lot on Bonta because he's just a cancer on our society here in California.
You called him a dishonest, corrupt rat, by the way.
A dishonest, corrupt rat. Yeah, and he's a snake. He's a rat. He's evil. He is corrupt. I can go on, but you get the idea. All right, let me. Spencer Pratt put out a post today, and that's how I got tipped off about this particular story. And it's by Matthew Seedorf. We'll play it in just a moment from Fox 11. There's apparently an entire block of downtown LA, South Hope Street. And there's all these vacant buildings. And for the last 2 months, they've had over 10 fires. And the fires keep happening over and over again. And of course, Karen Bass does nothing about it. The city council, nothing. Police chief Jim McDonnell, nothing. You know, they've got young girls getting sold for sex on Figueroa. They don't know anything about it. They got dogs being experimented on and tortured on Skid Row. They don't do anything about it. and they have buildings blazing almost every night in the past 2 months. Hope Street, downtown L.A. Matthew Seedorf explains.
Like Christine, residents out here are angry. You can see them out here. They saw a report about an hour ago. They're chanting, "Stop the fires," or "Fire Rado," which is the council member. But it feels like a war zone. Just take a look at the destruction inside from the front to the back of the building. And neighbors say the fires keep happening. A block of downtown LA that keeps being set on fire. Neighbors recording as flames rip through one vacant building after another. My building is about to catch on fire.
I don't think they are doing anything. Like, they don't really care.
That intense fire took place less than 2 months ago. We first exclusively reported on this problem and concerns from nearby residents. Keep happening. Neighbors worry it's going to happen again. Since then, neighbors say the fires haven't stopped.
Last 2 months, I'd say maybe 10.
10 fires.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more, maybe 12.
Pretty eye-opening to see. This building has burned right here, another one, and then right across the street, one more.
There's an invasion of addicts and people that just break into properties and make it their home, and then fires erupt.
Juan Gutierrez owns a business on the street. His building's surrounded by destruction. I mean, how do these fires keep happening in the same spot?
I have no idea. Even though they come signs that you're not supposed to go in there, the sad fact is that people keep going in.
And they're not enforcing that.
They're not enforcing anything.
On Monday, our cameras found taggers outside one of the damaged properties. We talked to you about the fires and this man leaving from inside. While on the roof, another person seems to be crawling in.
People in the building have written to Councilwoman Jurado, but as far as I know, she hasn't taken any action.
Neighbors say the fires keep moving further down the street, and they worry without action, the destruction will continue.
City government needs to do a lot more than they seem to be doing, right?
We did reach out to Councilmember Jurado's office. So far, we haven't heard back. Residents out here, though, definitely demanding change. Are you guys upset tonight?
Stop the fires, fire Jurado!
I think that's definitely a yes.
Stop the fires, fire Jurado. Gee, we were talking about Jurado a little while ago. What was that for? Oh, yeah. Horrific stink from the fire in Boyle Heights of that refrigeration plant where 96% of the rotted food is still in the building. They haven't cleared it out yet. And Isabel Jurado had nothing to say about that. And Karen Bass squawked a lot, but she hasn't done anything to speed up. Neither has Lineage Logistics. And then not far away here in downtown LA, you got a dozen fires. You know, here's what's interesting. Matthew Seedorf said they did a story on this in May. In May, they did a story. The neighbors said people are breaking in to the vacant buildings, and then fires erupt. Now, 2 months later, he's returned to the neighborhood, and there's been a dozen fires since. And you call Bass's office, and they said, well, call the fire department. You call Jurado's office, they don't do it. Now, these are big fires burning out buildings. When Fox 11 came to the area on Monday, they saw graffiti vandals outside the buildings. A man was seen walking out. Another one on the roof. And what you have here are homeless people, gangs, drug addicts, mental patients, and this must be a sport. They're just set fires to see what happens. And then the fire department comes and puts them out. No police. You think there'd be a huge police presence to break this cycle. No. What does Jim McDonald do all day? What does he do all day? And if he's been told by Bass not to arrest, well, not to stop the crazy people torturing the animals and killing the animals on Skid Row, he's been told not to stop the arsonists that are burning down the buildings on South Hope Street. If he's been told, not stop prosecuting the men who are having sex with 10-year-old girls on Figueroa, was he told by Bass not to prosecute any of this or not to arrest? Like, what's the story? When's he going to speak out? Is he so cowed and afraid of Bass? And does Bass want the girls to be raped Does she want these buildings to burn? Does she want the animals to be experimented on and tortured and killed? She knows about it. It's in the news a lot now. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't think there's another place in the world like this. I really don't. Got more coming up. Deborah Mark is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. The LADWP expects to reopen a stretch of Sunset Boulevard later this week, and California Attorney General Bonta announces new legal action against the Trump administration. We'll have more at the bottom of the hour. We're going to the 5 next.
GiveMeTheVIN.com. You can sell your car in a hot minute. You ought to try this. Enter your car's VIN number. You'll get an offer fast. At GiveMeTheVIN.com, their offers beat CarMax and beat Carvana every day. If they can't beat their offer, they'll pay you $100. GiveMeTheVIN.com will get you your check on the spot. Super easy, super fast. GiveMeTheVIN.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVIN.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Southland weather from KFI. Hot tomorrow. Highs upper 70s to the triple digits. This report brought to you by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. From your Toyota dealers traffic center, we make it easy. Stall on the 5 in Norwalk.
Northbound, right before Norwalk Boulevard, broken down in the left lanes. So things are kind of slow from Rosecrans, a few minutes of additional driving. In Burbank, on the 134 westbound at Hollywood Way, right shoulder crash, and you're slow from Buena Vista. Palmdale, the trouble on the Angeles Forest Highway, the 2 northbound between Upper Big Tahunga Canyon Road and Monte Cristo Campground. Upbound lane is closed. The semi lost its trailer there, and it's actually blocking both lanes. Closure probably until around 7 this evening. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Randy Fuller.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Getting you back to your life pursuit. Hoag Orthopedic Institute. Call 1-800-919-2000.
If you own a local business, Search Local gives you the tools to get found and compete online without a big company budget. Your business is probably already on there, so visit and claim your business, promote coupons, post jobs, list services and menus, bid on projects, and connect with more local customers. It's less than $3 a day. Free popular platforms for locals and influencer accounts too. Go to searchlocal.com and use promo word LOCAL for 1 month free and a 50% discount. That's searchlocal.com.
If you run a business, you know how hard it is to get your customers' attention. Yet 85% of consumers say radio is the last thing they hear before shopping. Let iHeartRadio help you reach your next customer today at 844-844-iHeart.
When power goes out and cell networks fail, AM radio can be a lifeline with local news, weather, and emergency information. But time is running out. AM radio could disappear from new cars unless Congress acts. Please text the 2 letters AM to 39179 and tell Congress to vote yes on the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act. Text the letters AM to 39179. Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP. This message furnished by this station.
Gold has hit record highs, and many Americans are discovering they can move part of their existing IRA or 401k into physical gold and silver without paying taxes or penalties. It's called a rollover, and Golden Crest Metals helps investors do it every day. No cash out, no complicated paperwork, no hassle. Golden Crest is a nationally recognized precious metals firm seen on Fox Business and CNBC with an A- BBB rating and 5-star reviews. Plus, right now, receive up to $25,000 in free silver with a qualifying purchase. Call 888-447-7857 now for your free information kit and speak with a gold specialist. Socialists. That's 888-447-7857. Again, call 888-447-7857. That's 888-447-7857. Golden Crest Metals is not a financial advisor. Precious metals involve risk and are not suitable for all investors. Free silver offer consists of a 10% bonus and silver applied to qualifying purchases of premium minted coins. Minimum purchase of $10,000 required. Bonus silver capped to $25,000 and credit is in addition to customer account. Free IRA storage subject to qualifying purchase tiers. See goldencrestmetals.com for full terms and conditions.
Why do you love movies? Is it the emotion, the spectacle, the escapism? On Raiders of the Lost podcast, we explore cinema like no one else, including huge interviews with stars like Ryan Gosling on Project Hail Mary.
It was like the Jaws shark. Didn't always work, came with its own problems. That's what made it great. The heart of the movie is Rocky and Grace, and their friendship is hard-earned.
Open your free iHeartRadio app, search Raiders of the Lost podcast, and listen now.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
Coming up on the next Gary and Shannon show.
Preliminary hearing is underway for singer David in the death of Celeste Rivas. We may hear some new evidence in that case.
The Gary and Shannon show starts tomorrow at 9.
Here's another $1,000 for you.
Now is your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Bonus. That's BONUS. Enter it now at KFIAM640.com/cash.
KFI. Bonus. Enter that word at KFIAM640.com/cash. If you win, you get an email. Check your junk and spam folder. Listen to KFI winning keyword every hour, every weekday. Starts at 9 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon. Next chance to win is tomorrow at 9:20 with Gary and Shannon. Now, I was just talking about all the things that are going on that the police department has conceded. Whether it's a dozen buildings burning in downtown and nobody stops the gang members, the mental patients, the homeless. Right, you got 10-year-old girls getting sold for sex and raped and violated on Figueroa. Yeah, police don't do anything there. You have the dogs being experimented on Skid Row. They're shot up with drugs to see what happens. They are tortured. They're left for dead, or they're actually killed. Nothing. Right? Jim McDonald does nothing. Karen Bass, I guess, has his parts in a jar on her desk. I don't know. Then you have this, which I didn't see live, and I didn't really believe it. I had to watch it a couple of times. There was a police chase last night. Guy stole a car. And we're going to play you. We had to condense this audio, so it's shorter than real time. ABC 7 helicopter reporter Chris Christie. This really happened. The police was chasing this guy because he committed a crime. He stole a car, and then they backed off. And I guess they still had helicopters chasing him, but he decided to stop and gas up. Listen.
Southbound Long Beach now making another westbound turn here, finding another gas station. Might even be the same one. He must be low on gas. Driver stepping out of the vehicle. And he's going to drop it right here. Bending. Oh, he's going to get gas. This driver nervously getting gas after feeling some degree of relief here, although you can tell he's still very animated. He's got his shirt covering his face. Clearly aware of the helicopters, but pretty unaware of the fact that he's pretty much on his own down there. There's really nobody pursuing him anymore. All of the law enforcement has pulled off. LAPD has abandoned this pursuit. California Highway Patrol has sent their helicopter off to other assignments. So it looks like he is really just, he's got a little wad of cash there, maybe. I mean, he couldn't be acting any more suspicious. I'll tell you that. Just dropping the drop. This is a wild scene here as he just drops the pump and continues on after a quick splash of gas. Now back on the run here, but there's nobody behind him as he continues to drive like a maniac through here. Yeah. And now getting back onto Long Beach Boulevard.
So he's in danger. I think he's whacked out on drugs because he was jumping up and down. Did you see this, Deborah?
I didn't.
And he was pacing around. He's really nervous. He had his face partially covered. And he gassed up. And I thought he was going to go in and maybe get a soda and a snack.
He didn't have time.
And there's no police. And this is on live television, right? Was there anyone in the police department watching Channel 7? Could they have radioed? It's like, hey, the guy you were pursuing, he's pumping gas. Nobody went. They all peeled off. Another piece of weird audio. Now, this is a transgender student. And the pronouns are really important here. It's a he that became a she, at least in her mind. Tough to tell by looking at her. She's got floppy blue hair and kind of chubby. And there is a school official or an officer or somebody trying to contain this person. And he mistakenly misgenders her. And you'll rarely hear a fit like this in your life. It's a school police officer. Play cut number 4.
What's the problem?
Why do you let those kids get away with this? They are not supposed to be here!
If you don't lower your voice, I am going to put handcuffs on you and I'm going to take you to a Baker Act facility. Lower your voice.
Try it.
Are you threatening me? Can we get another unit to deal with Jay Lee here? He is having a breakdown.
Say! Just say the right pronoun!
What'd you say?
7351.
Get down on the ground right now.
No!
You're about to get sprayed.
No!
Get down on the ground right now.
Leave me alone!
I can come in there.
Leave me alone, please!
Okay, are you going to calm down?
I want to be away from him.
It's too late now. It's too late now. He's going to be taken away.
Say! Billy, you stop.
He's taken.
I just want to get away from him.
I understand that. He needs
Say! Say! Stop misgendering me! Just say she!
Alpha 7-3. Please step in. Watch your head.
Do not push me.
It's the University of Central Florida. Jarrett Vick is the student. Had to be tased and arrested. It seems much of the dispute was the officer referring to her as he instead of she, in case you didn't get that. I don't think I've ever heard anybody scream like that.
No?
No, not even my house. That was
You don't scream like that?
Huh? No, I can't hit that high note.
Oh.
No. And the way she could elongate.
Yes.
That's over a pronoun.
Everybody has their breaking point.
This is what 10 years of that pronoun nonsense has resulted in. By the way, it's not obvious if it's he or she. I wouldn't know what to say. Of course, it's blue hair, though. I don't know what the significance, why it's always like blue hair is involved.
That's why I put they.
Oh, did you on this?
Yeah, on the cut sheet, I put they.
You put they. All
You
right.
think John's going to say they?
Well, I was trying to protect him.
I don't want her screaming at me.
Exactly.
That's right. We come back. I told you before that the college graduates who have the biggest degrees and make the least money are the ones who are voting for the socialists and progressives and the DSAs. And usually they try to get into academic life where they can steal tax money to spend on weird woke research on gender and equity and sexual things and pronouns. Well, the Trump administration in California decided to use some keywords to block grants to certain certain universities. And what they did is they used woke keywords, and they were able to find the grants that they thought were wasting the money. And we'll talk about that when we come back. Deborah Mark is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
The National Weather Service says there's not much chance of any thunderstorms in Southern California during the heat wave that it says is expected to last into next week. Chief Meteorologist Dr. Robbie Monroe says extreme heat warnings and advisories will stay in effect from tomorrow through at least Monday because of high temperatures.
95 to 108 or so away from the coast, and even some of those areas near the coast, widespread 80s to mid-90s. Including downtown Los Angeles.
He says with the building heat, there will also be elevated critical fire weather concerns. The LA DWP expects to reopen a stretch of Sunset Boulevard later this week after last week's massive flooding caused by a broken water main in West Hollywood. The DWP has completed pressure testing of the replacement section of pipe and is working to backfill with concrete that huge sinkhole that was created on Sunset. Testimony started this morning in what's expected to be a 3-day preliminary hearing to determine if there's enough evidence to send singer David to trial over the killing of a teenage girl whose body was found in his Tesla at a tow yard in Hollywood last year. LA County DA Hochman says his office will be presenting some evidence to show David Burke should go to trial.
The standard that we have to meet is not beyond a reasonable doubt at the preliminary hearing stage. It is probable cause.
He says his office is not obligated to present all the evidence it has against Burke at this hearing. California Attorney General Rob Bonta has announced new legal action against the Trump administration related to what he says is the climate crisis. He says the state is suing the EPA over hydrofluorocarbons, or HFCs, which are synthetic gases often used for cooling and refrigerants. Bonta says the EPA is trying to weaken restrictions against them.
The bottom line is this: reducing HFC emissions is critical to avoiding the worst impacts of climate change.
Bonta says the EPA is changing rules that would penalize companies that have already transitioned away from HFCs. And CVS is getting into the pet prescription business.
CVS Health is now dispensing select prescription medications to dogs and cats. CVS will fill vet-prescribed antibiotics, allergy meds, flea and tick treatments, insulin, and pain relievers at its 9,000 pharmacies nationwide. Customers can also take advantage of automatic refills and, in some cases, home delivery. CVS Health said in a statement, with the launch of pet medication dispensing, our pharmacies are now able to serve every member of the family. Pet meds are a $13 to $14.5 billion a year industry in the U.S. Amy King, KFI News.
We're going to head over to the 605 next.
Incogni. Oh, yeah, Incogni. I got to tell you, you get spam text messages, right? Deceptive emails. This stuff is terrible. Scammers text and email you when they get your info. They buy it from data brokers. You can tell those data brokers to stop. And there's a company that'll do it for you. Incogni. INCOGNI. Online service that puts hundreds of data brokers on notice to stop. Now, I use Incogni just for that purpose. And they've removed my data from 324 data brokers. And you know what I got today? Is I got an email from Incogni with my monthly privacy report giving me an upgrade. Yeah, and they really have reviewed not only the 324 sites that they got the data removed from, but a lot of these sites will put the data back. So they've completed 441 requests, completed removal requests since I joined it just a few months ago. Because that's it. They're always scouring the internet. They're always getting your data erased from these sites. Go to incogni.com/KFI, save 60%. Incogni.com/KFI. If they can't find you, they can't scam you. Incogni.com/KFI.
Southland weather from KFI. It's going to be hot again tomorrow. Highs mid-80s to mid-90s. Metro LA, low 90s to the triple digits in the valleys and the IE. It's going to be windy again in the IE. Low to mid-90s and windy again for the high desert. Low to upper 70s for the beaches. Low to mid-80s inland OC. Right now, 84 in Laguna Woods and 86 in Rancho Santa Margarita. We have a crash on the 605 in Whittier.
It's northbound right before Rose Hills Road, over on the right shoulder. Slow traffic from Rosecrans, though. It's probably add about 10 minutes to your drive. In Highland Park on the 110 southbound, the on-ramp from Via Marisol blocked with a solo crash. Car hit a pole there. And in Burbank on the 134 westbound at Hollywood Way. There's a right shoulder wreck, car versus semi, out of traffic, but still kind of slow from Buena Vista Street. The Southern California's most accurate traffic reports. I'm Randy Fuller.
Hi, it's John Kobylt, and I'm talking with trial attorney and managing partner at Sweet James, Bobby Tagavi. And Bobby, another teenager at Disneyland jumped off a ride in midstream, literally. This person climbed out of a boat at Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And a child, actually, 13 years old, climbed out of the boat, and the ride came to a halt just as it was going to go down the 50-foot water slide. But the boy was not hurt. When a kid jumps out like that, what is Disneyland's liability? What are they supposed to do?
So, the law requires reasonable care, and thanks for having me on, John. The law requires reasonable care, not perfection. So Disneyland isn't automatically responsible when a rider chooses to climb out of a moving ride. But now that you have multiple, there's a foreseeability element that now they know this is happening multiple times. Are they on notice? And is it foreseeable that it's going to happen again? Which, I think that tends to say yes. And that's why they've closed the ride down, and they're sounds like they're trying to redesign it or reevaluate how people are seated in there, because now you kind of have this foreseeability thing that's floating out there.
Because when you're on like Ferris wheel type rides or rides where you're spinning in the air and you're in a seat, those bars lock on you so you can't open up the bar and slip out of the seat.
Yep. Exactly. And we don't know if this ride, worked as designed or not, or maybe it's because, the kids are smaller and maybe they need to change the requirement of how old you are, how big you are to get on the ride. I'm sure Disneyland is looking at all those things to make sure that they're protecting the public and their customers that are coming there trying to enjoy the park.
If you've suffered an injury, Sweet James is the firm to call. Thanks, Bobby. You call 800-9-million, sweetjames.com. Offices throughout California, including Los Angeles.
Lose the weight. Feel incredible. Just call 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL.
Would you take 15 seconds to save 15% to freshen your breath? Go to Zelmans.com and use the code SAVE. That's ZELMINS.com. Use the code SAVE for fresh, clean breath for hours.
Jungle backdrops, and sunset dinners. With Norwegian Cruise Line, you don't have to choose. Book your Mexican Riviera cruise at ncl.com.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that there are lots of things that can make your engine light come on, besides your engine. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's technicians are specially trained to diagnose what's causing your engine light to come on and fix it, no matter what it is. Keep your eyes on the road and your ears open for another episode of AMCO's Bet You Didn't Know.
AA MCO. Check engine light on? We'll check it for free. Restrictions, limitations, and exclusions may apply. See AMCO.com for complete details.
AMCO, with over 40 centers serving Southern California.
Call 844-GO-SMILE to learn about the new Lifestyle Smile dental implants from Lasting Smiles.
KFI.
More stimulating talk.
An iHeart radio station.
KFI, AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. Ron from 3 to 6 after 6 o'clock. John Kobylt Show on demand on the iHeart app. And again, 3 o'clock hour number 1 of the podcast. We talked to Michael Gates, who's was the former city attorney for Huntington Beach, one of the safest cities in all of California. He also worked for the Department of Justice in Washington for the Trump administration, and now he wants to get rid of Rob Bonta as Attorney General. And Bonta caused a big problem today by rewriting the voter ID title and summary, the proposition that we are going to vote on in November. We're going to talk a lot more about that tomorrow as well, but we had him, Michael Gates, on at 3:30. We had Carl DeMaio to talk about the voter ID proposition at 4. That would be hour number 2. Listen to the podcast because things are starting to heat up for November. We've been talking off and on about this statistical research that was done by Nate Silver, who you may have heard his name. He does a lot of research into political voting trends, why people vote, what demographics vote for who. And he discovered that the people most likely to vote, the people who consider themselves most liberal, most left-wing, most progressive, most likely to go DSA, right? They tend to be the most educated. I use the word educated loosely. Let's say they go to college for a long time and they get degrees. But a lot of them don't make much money because the degrees are useless nonsense. And some of them make, like there's one demographic, $30,000 to $60,000. They have a postgraduate degree, master's, doctorate, and they're making 30 to 60. And they have big loans to pay off. And they've decided capitalism fails. Capitalism bad. I want social. Well, of course you want socialism because you rang up a lot of debt on a college scam. You got a worthless degree and there's no job for you. Yeah, I can see why you're angry and bitter. So what you want is me to pay high taxes. You want reparations, right? You got scammed by these progressive colleges and borrowed $100,000 and you have no way to pay it back because there's no use for your degree because you didn't learn any marketable skills. You can't get real jobs. A companion to this is a story in Cal Matters. And it's about, the point of the story is Trump's administration canceled $2 billion of research grants to UC professors. Now, UC has got a whole bunch of legal arguments as to why this was illegal, unconstitutional, this and that. But I'll tell you what the administration did, and you'll see the merit for at least some of this. They decided to use keyword searches to review hundreds of grants and terminate them en masse rather than reviewing them individually, line by line on their merits. Because they found there was a lot of these research grants had much in common. For example, the keywords they used, the Department of Transportation identified 6 grants for projects worth about $42 million to be terminated because they sought, get this, purpose of the grants, to research transportation equity. You just had to put in keyword equity. And boy, would you get a lot of hits that prioritized disadvantaged communities, diversifying the transportation workforce, and equity. So there's equity, then there's transportation equity, $42 million. Trump administration says no go. There were 3 grants that one UC Davis professor had on this transportation equity nonsense, and it resulted in 77 researchers abandoning 79 projects that were in progress. 79 projects into transportation equity? What the hell? And we were paying for this. And these are the useless degrees that these wannabe socialists have gotten, that they're in debt over. And the most they could do is they could go back to school as a professor and start wasting more money doing transportation equity nonsense. Project leaders were also forced to lay off more than 40 graduate and undergraduate research assistants. Well, there's no value to any of this. You can do this on your own. You could earn your own money and then spend your own money on transportation equity research. But why? You're not spending my money on this anymore. Why don't you research something useful? National Institute of Health. They used word search, and they flagged UC grants that mentioned health equity. I swear to God, 10 years ago, I'd never heard this word. And by the way, the general definition of equity is you want equal outcomes, not equal opportunity, equal outcomes. Okay? And that's a really dark place to go. Equal outcomes. That's impossible. You give people equal opportunity. You can all let them in the door, but they're not going to all come out of the door with the same success. It's impossible. Okay, so it's health equity. You lost your grant. Workforce diversity, definitely. Structural racism, Oh, God, doesn't that sound like a dated old phrase? Yeah, that's a 2020 phrase. Sexual orientation, there's no need to research these things. There's no need to spend tax money. No wonder these people are going bankrupt. There's no jobs for them now. If they get their research grants cut, what are they going to do for a living? How are they going to pay back their loan? Of course they want socialism. Socialism means steal a successful person's money because I wasted my life. I went to 8 years to college. I got an equity degree. It's of no value. I owe all this money. I'm now a socialist. Please give me your money. National Institute of Health suspended or canceled more than 1,000 UC grants, 700 at UCLA. And a lot of it had to do with medical equity, disparities in health outcomes, cancer research, vaccines. But it's not research in vaccines to make better vaccines and to cure cancer. Is to do this equity, diversity research into these diseases. It's just nonsense. Saying the whole thing's tied up in court, but this whole weird woke underground economy that's focused on the colleges, and all the money to finance this economy is coming from taxpayers. And it's all about investigating things that they can't explain, that make no sense, that have no value, just totally invented idiocy. And you know what? The jig is up. Scam's over. Scam is over. Not paying for it anymore. Deborah Marks, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest heat advisories and an extreme heat warning start tomorrow in Southern California. And a stretch of Sunset Boulevard is still closed in West Hollywood days after that massive flooding. We'll have more at the top of the hour, going to the 105 next.
Declare your independence from dated, tired windows. For the month of July here, American Vision Windows is offering a savings of $1,776 off new windows. Because new windows not only lower your energy bills, but they lock in your comfort year-round and give your home a curb appeal boost that your neighbors are going to notice. With 25 years and more than 1 million windows installed, American Vision Windows is California's most trusted window replacement company. They're also employee-owned, which means every employee has a personal stake in getting your project right. So you can expect a smooth process. Projects mostly completed in a day. You're not going to be living in a construction zone, and your project's going to cost a lot less this month. You have to book it by July 31st. Offer ends on that day. New customers only. Restrictions apply. Call or see website for detail. Go to AmericanVisionWindows.com or call 888-771-2188. 888-771-2188.
Southland weather from KFI. Hot tomorrow. Highs ranging from the upper 70s to the triple digits. This report brought to you by CumminsRecall.com. From your Toyota dealer's traffic center, we make it easy. Stall on the 105 in Downey.
Eastbound, right at Bellflower Boulevard. Car broke down there. It's in the center divider, so they were able to make it out of lanes. You've got a flat tire there. Traffic slow from Sepulveda to the Boulevard. It's probably delaying things almost a half an hour for you. South Los Angeles, the 110 northbound past Century Boulevard. Right shoulder crash. Heavy traffic from El Segundo Boulevard. In Anaheim on the 91 westbound at the 55. That's a crash in the center divider, slowing things from Imperial Highway. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Randy Fuller.
I recently opened up a new account at Infinity Bank in Orange County. It was the easiest process to switch banks. Call my guy, Victor Guerrero. He's my guy. He's the president of the bank. 657-223-1000. 657-223-1000. Talk to him about switching. Infinity Bank.
Attention Ram owners. Complete Recall 67A. Get $500 and the chance to win a getaway to Miami for two to see the final race of the season. Plus, meet Brendan Butterbean Queen. Learn more and schedule at CumminsRecall.com.
This report is sponsored by Positive Coaching Alliance.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
Gold and silver recently hit record highs, then pulled back. So are metals still a good buy? Many experts say yes. Gold remains a long-standing hedge for wealth protection. Visit LearCapital.com for a free gold kit. LearCapital.com, LearCapital.com.
This is CEOs You Should Know with Division President of iHeartMedia, Paul Corvino.
Today, I'm joined by Dr. Topper Taylor. He's the mayor of Indian Wells. Thank you. Welcome.
Hey, how are you? Good to see you.
Tell the audience what sets your city apart from other cities and why they should be visiting.
So, Indian Wells is kind of the Beverly Hills of the desert. So we have 2 public golf courses that are ranked in the top 100 in the United States. They are truly exceptional at the Indian Wells Golf Resort. And next to those 2 golf courses are 2 hotels, the Grand Hyatt and the Renaissance Hotel, Renaissance Esmeralda. What drives our economy is tourism. And I think people who come to our city want to come back, and we're proud of that.
Listen to CEOs You Should Know on the iHeartRadio app. Therapy Thursday with Ellen K is now a podcast. Love triangles, family feuds, secrets that should probably stay secret. Sponsored by Airtasker. Post your task. Get help from a tasker. Get anything done. That's a stress buster. And binge Therapy Thursday with Ellen K on the iHeartRadio app and wherever you get your podcasts.
In this edition of the Marketers Report, Kelsey Agostinelli, Vice President of Marketing Operations for Mars, talks about the mindset of the listener.
Let's reach people where they are. That doesn't change. As consumers' touch points expand, and it's lovely to have the preference where you consume media, where you engage with other people. Everybody has their own platform of engagement. And so reaching people where they are, and audio is a great way to do that. You think about the noise. And when you're listening to audio, a lot of times you're really tuning in explicitly to the messages you're looking for, the music you're listening for, or the podcast you're listening for. So that sort of captive, selective audience is unquestionably special.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia connects marketers to all the audiences, live events, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need to grow. And all guaranteed human. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartAdvertising.com.
You'll learn more before breakfast than most people learn all day. Wake Up Call with Amy King. Live 5 to 6 a.m. on KFI. And on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
Coming up on the Conway Show, Andy Reesmeyer in for Tim Conway Jr. Recess is disappearing. Parents are pushing to bring it back. That's coming up tonight on the Conway Show. KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. John Kobylt Show. And we'll be done at 6, and then Andy's coming in for Tim. Moist line 877-MOIST-86, 877-MOIST-86. So use the talkback feature on the iHeartRadio app. We'll play 2 rounds on Friday. We've been live on YouTube all afternoon, and you can watch the recorded video right at 6. YouTube.com/John Kobylt Show. I'm sorry, that's at John Kobylt Show. YouTube.com/@John Kobylt Show. Subscribe and become a member. We've been talking about how the Trump administration stopped spending a ton of money on stupid equity and diversity research projects at various UC schools. They also stopped $100 million in being spent. It was tax money going to dead people. Really. They have a new payment verification process at the Treasury Department, and they found out that $100 million in tax money was going to the dead. They have identified, since March of last year, almost 5,000 payments, and they were coming from federal agencies. And this is part of their task force it's connected to the task force to eliminate fraud. See, they have a do not pay program, which confirms if you're a recipient of tax money, your identity, your eligibility, your bank account information. And I guess they didn't used to use this verification system very much. They needed to pass legislation about 5 years ago so the department would have temporary access to the Social Security Administration's full death master file. Probably didn't know this exists. This is a government file of everybody who's died, which is very useful here. So they cross-referenced the dead people with the list of people that they're making payments to. And in February, Trump signed the Ending Improper Payments to Deceased People Act. I just love the name. Ending Improper Payments to Deceased People Act. So the Treasury got access to the death file. Can you believe what we existed for 250 years? And the government couldn't, one government agency couldn't access the other government's agency's death file. So the Treasury could see if the money they were paying out was going to people who dropped. And they think they're going to gain ultimately $330 million through their reduction in payments to dead people. Oh, everybody's got a scam, huh? Well, I guess most people, if they get a check in the name of their dead relative, they're just going to sign the check, put it in the dead relative's account. They're not going to say anything. Nobody's going to feel bad. It's like, it's government money. It's okay. And finally, one of the founders of California Pizza Kitchen said that if he were going to open his chain today, it wouldn't be in California. It would be in Florida. I don't know if Florida Pizza Kitchen has the same ring to it, but this is Rick Rosenfield, co-founder of CPK, and he says, if it were up to me today, I'd open in Florida. California is less business friendly. They make it apparent. And a decade ago, California was the greatest place to do business. Decade ago. That was before Gavin Newsom became governor, huh? Then after the pandemic and the shutdown, the state became more expensive. Taxes started to rise. They had to increase prices. And people stayed home during the lockdown, and they had to file for bankruptcy in 2020, and they closed 46 CPKs. The one in my neighborhood closed. I don't have one anywhere near me now. He says Florida is quite friendly. There's less bureaucracy in Florida. There's more bureaucracy in California. I mean, California Pizza Kitchen has been around for decades. And that's what you used to be able to do in California. And now you can't. And so now Florida is the state that's booming. And I go to Florida quite a bit, and it is booming. It reminds me exactly like how California felt when my wife and I first moved here in the 90s. The way this place felt in the 90s is the way Florida feels now. It's pretty shocking and striking. And whenever I hear somebody make a joke about Florida politics or Ron DeSantis or red state, blue state nonsense, I know they're a complete moron, completely ignorant. You're just a jackass. Florida is booming like you wouldn't believe. And this place is dying. More coming up. We got Andy Riesmeyer in for Tim Conway Jr. And podcast will be released in a few minutes. Eileen Gonzalez has the news. I got it right. Live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
KF